Welcome to Fanfiction Audiobook. Dragon Ball Dark Dimension at the beginning. Chapter 81. Beerus only got a little serious, and the situation took a sharp turn for the worse. Son Goku was almost powerless in this fierce battle and was defeated. His body was like a kite with a broken string, losing control and falling straight into the endless abyss below. The powerful impact made him faint instantly, and the whole person fell unconsciously into the thick atmosphere. During the fall, Son Goku's body rubbed violently with the air flow in the atmosphere, producing dazzling sparks. But he was unaware of it, and his closed eyes and pale face all showed his fragility and powerlessness at the moment. Son Gohan was ready to watch his father fly over and catch him immediately. But at this moment, a figure rushed over quickly, opened his arms and prepared to catch Sun Wukong, and said, "Get out of the way, if you can't catch him, he will fall to death." Beerus also slowly fell to the ground. Although Sun Wukong was not very strong in this battle really surprised Beerus. "Hey, I said you are the Super Saiyan God, right? Whis told me that you killed that Majin Buu, right?" Beerus looked at Cheng Yu and said, "Lord Beerus, Super Saiyan God is actually a kind of transformation. Saiyans can transform after training well. If Lord Beerus wants to fight with me, remember to agree not to destroy the earth." Cheng Yu explained, and then reminded him of the previous request again, because Cheng Yu also understood that he was indeed not the opponent of these gods now. Since he was not the opponent, he could only endure it for the time being. "I am the god of destruction, Beerus. How could I break my promise? Come on, let me see your strength. Then continue to the universe, Lord Beerus. I think you will be satisfied with this battle." After Cheng Yu finished speaking, accompanied by a burst of red light, Cheng Yu flew into the universe, and the way Cheng Yu thought was completely changed. Cheng Yu now has magenta body hair covering his body. His hair has become slightly messy and longer, with long black hair draped over his shoulders. His eyes have turned golden with obvious pupils. That's right, Super Saiyan 4 is up. Beerus on the ground felt that the breath was surging when Cheng Yu just flew into the universe, so he checked carefully and hadn't gotten up yet. Now Beerus flashed directly into the universe, and Cheng Yu, looking at his current appearance, also spoke. "What kind of transformation is this? It seems that you are a little stronger than them. Hey, this is Super Saiyan 4. Lord Beerus, I hope you will enjoy this battle." Cheng Yu was thinking about the scene of Sun Wukong's battle just now, and his appearance was already in the form of Super Saiyan 4. In the vast universe, he and Beerus stood opposite each other, ready to start a thrilling duel. Beerus felt the powerful aura emanating from Cheng Yu, and a look of surprise appeared on his face. He never thought that an ordinary mortal could cultivate to such an amazing level. But at this moment, neither side said too much. Cheng Yu roared, as if to release all the fighting spirit in his heart, and rushed towards Beerus like lightning. His speed was extremely fast, and a long golden light and shadow was dragged behind him. Beerus reacted quickly, his eyes fixed, and his hands pushed forward a powerful energy wave, trying to block Cheng Yu's attack. Seeing this, Cheng Yu crossed his hands in front of his chest and crashed into the energy wave. With a loud bang, the energy wave exploded instantly, turning into countless brilliant lights. Cheng Yu broke through the obstruction of the energy wave, came to Beerus in an instant, and punched Beerus in the face. Beerus dodged the blow easily by moving sideways, and at the same time raised his leg to kick Cheng Yu in the abdomen. Cheng Yu reacted very quickly and blocked the kick with his arm, but the strong impact still made him step back a few steps. After stabilizing his body, Cheng Yu launched another attack. He swung out countless fist shadows with his hands in succession, and each punch was accompanied by powerful force and fierce momentum. Beerus was not in a hurry, and his hands danced quickly to dissolve Cheng Yu's attacks one by one. The two of them fought back and forth, and the battle became more and more intense. Cheng Yu used various tricks, and energy balls and qigong waves were constantly emitted from his hands, bombarding Beerus. Beerus fought back with even more terrifying power, and each of his attacks caused violent fluctuations in the surrounding space. In a fierce collision, Cheng Yu and Beerus were both knocked back. Cheng Yu was panting heavily, and the golden light on his body flickered, but his eyes remained firm. Beerus' expression also became serious, and he realized that the person in front of him immortal is extraordinary. After a short pause, Cheng Yu completely burst out the powerful power of Super Saiyan 4 and rushed towards Beerus. This time, his speed and strength were raised to a new height, and he had a more thrilling confrontation with Beerus. The universe was shining with light and energy was overflowing. The intensity of this battle was breathtaking. Cheng Yu flashed behind Beerus again, and then the red light wrapped his fist, and punched out. Beerus flew backwards, and Cheng Yu just looked at Beerus, who had just stabilized his body on the opposite side calmly. "You kid, very good. I haven't experienced this kind of battle for a long time. Hehe, Lord Beerus, I feel that you don't seem to have used your strength. So please let me see it, Lord Beerus. It's really interesting, come on, then let you see it." Then a purple flame surrounded Beerus' body in an instant, and this flame floated around Beerus' body like a wave. Cheng Yu suddenly felt a huge pressure, and his eyes became more solemn. Although there is actually a lot of pressure, it is ignited. Cheng Yu said to himself, and then moved in front of Beerus in an instant, and then punched out with a straight punch. This powerful punch directly caused space vibration. What's more terrifying is that Beerus' body didn't move at all, and he took the punch with his body and there was no effect. Cheng Yu was shocked again, but the warlike gene in the bones of the Saiyan was completely ignited. This kind of fighting pleasure and pressure made Cheng Yu very excited. However, Beerus did not make any moves, but directly increased his divine power, and then a burst of purple energy burst out. This momentum was like a surging wave, crushing Cheng Yu like an overwhelming force. Cheng Yu instantly felt an unprecedented huge pressure, as if the entire universe was squeezing him. Beerus took the lead in attacking. He just swung his fist lightly, and a fist wind containing endless destructive power whistled out and rushed towards Cheng Yu at an astonishing speed. Cheng Yu tried his best to resist, but when the fist wind touched his defense, he only felt an irresistible force coming, and the whole person was instantly knocked out. Before Cheng Yu could stabilize his body, Beerus appeared behind him like a teleportation and kicked him on the back. Cheng Yu fell rapidly like a meteor, slammed hard on a barren planet, and instantly smashed a huge deep pit on the surface of the planet. Beerus did not give Cheng Yu any chance to breathe, and then another energy beam shot at Cheng Yu in the deep pit. Cheng Yu jumped out of the pit with difficulty, trying to dodge, but the energy beam followed him like a shadow, and finally hit him. The powerful energy impact made Cheng Yu's whole body feel like being electrocuted, and he rolled in the air in pain. Beerus flashed in front of Cheng Yu again and chopped him down with a palm knife. Cheng Yu blocked it with his arms, but the blow made his arms numb and blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. Beerus did not give Cheng Yu any chance, and hit Cheng Yu directly with a fist wrapped in purple energy. Although Cheng Yu was blown away by Beerus's powerful fist and embedded directly into the mountain, Cheng Yu immediately stood up and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. The god of destruction is indeed the god of destruction, but don't underestimate me. I am a Saiyan. Cheng Yu clenched his fists tightly, his knuckles turned pale due to excessive force, his teeth were clattering, and the muscles on his face were tense, as if he was in great pain. Suddenly, he raised his head and let out a deafening roar, which seemed to break through the shackles of the universe and reach the endless void. Along with this roar full of endless anger, unyielding and resoluteness, the hidden power in his body erupted like a volcano, bursting out all his breath. In an instant, a suffocating wave of air blew out from around Cheng Yu's body. This wave of air was like a raging tsunami, sweeping around with overwhelming force. Wherever it went, the space trembled violently, and layers of ripples visible to the naked eye appeared. Then, a dazzling magenta light suddenly flashed across like lightning that broke through the darkness. Under the reflection of this light, Cheng Yu's appearance changed amazingly. His body hair showed a bright and mysterious magenta color, and each strand flashed a dreamlike and strange light, as if it was condensed from the brightest stars. His hair color turned into a deep and rich crimson, with a mysterious and charming shadow, which seemed to be an ancient and powerful power sleeping and ready to wake up at any time. At this moment, his body was burning with a purple-red flame that was different from ordinary Super 4. The flame was hot and violent, like a blazing fire, and like a surging magma. Every beat released a chilling energy fluctuation. The high temperature emitted by the flames seemed to be able to burn everything around it in an instant and turn it into nothingness. That's right, under the stimulation of this extremely fierce battle, Chengyu finally fully developed and released the hidden power in his blood. Now he has transformed into a Super Saiyan IV bloodline sublimation. The powerful aura emanating from him is like a dazzling sun, making the surrounding stars dim under the shining light. The firm and fiery eyes seem to make the strongest declaration to Beerus. Even if facing a powerful enemy, even if he is in a desperate predicament, he will never be easily defeated, and he will fight to the end until the dawn of victory. At this time, neither Chengyu nor Beerus took action, but looked at each other. Chengyu's appearance at this time was like a domineering overlord, looking at each other quietly, and Beerus also felt that Chengyu was completely different from before, and was also very surprised. On Earth, the protagonists and Whis were also very surprised when they saw the images in the projection of the scepter. Even several Saiyans felt incredible. How is this possible? Pressure from blood, how is it possible? I just took a look, and the pressure from blood seemed to penetrate me deeply. Vegeta was completely surprised at this time. The pressure from the projection was indescribable, and it was pressure from blood. He was the Prince of Saiyans. Wow! Look carefully, Chengyu has completely released the energy in his body now. It's different from just now. Whis said to everyone with a smile. On the desolate planet in the universe, the two sides have begun to fight. Under the powerful energy of the two people, the desolate planet that was just standing under their feet was directly shattered in the universe. After Chengyu successfully transformed into a Super Saiyan IV blood sublimation, the thrilling battle between him and Beerus entered a white-hot and fierce stage. The purple-red flame burning on Chengyu's body was like a blazing flame. With a fearless and unstoppable momentum, he rushed towards Beerus again with a thunderous force. At this moment, he was as fast as lightning, and his strength seemed to be able to create the world. Every attack carried a shocking power that was enough to destroy the world. Beerus initially had a little contempt for Chengyu's new form. However, after taking on Chengyu's extremely sharp and powerful attacks, his originally relaxed expression instantly became solemn. Chengyu's fists fell on Beerus like a storm. Beerus began to be overwhelmed for a while, and some minor wounds gradually appeared on his seemingly indestructible body. But Beerus was a powerful destroyer who shocked the universe after all. He quickly adjusted his state, began to use more powerful and more terrifying moves to fight back fiercely. Every attack of Beerus contained terrifying energy that was chilling, and that energy seemed to be able to devour everything. Although Chengyu gritted his teeth and fought hard, he gradually felt powerless as time went on. In an extremely fierce energy collision, Chengyu was violently shaken away by Beerus's overwhelming force. Large mouthfuls of blood spurted out of his mouth, floating in the void like a sad and beautiful blood flower. However, Chengyu stood up again with difficulty with the indomitable iron will in his bones. His eyes were still firm and full of desire to fight, and he continued to attack Beerus again and again without hesitation. The battle became more and more intense, and both sides desperately tried their best. Every collision caused violent vibrations in the surrounding space, every impact of energy was like the explosion of stars. The whole universe seemed to be trembling and wailing in their fierce battle. In the end, due to the long and intense battle, Chengyu's physical strength and energy were overconsumed, and he gradually fell behind. Beerus took this opportunity to gather all his strength and launched a decisive super attack. This attack, like a bright light of destruction, instantly hit Chengyu. Chengyu could no longer resist this destructive force. His body fell heavily into the cold and vast universe like a kite with a broken string, and he lost consciousness. This shocking battle finally ended with Beerus' victory temporarily, but Chengyu's tenacity and fearless courage in the battle also made Beerus look at him with admiration and respect in his heart. Beerus carried Chengyu back to Earth, and then put him in front of Whis, saying, "Whis, give him some treatment. I have to say that I haven't felt this kind of battle for a long time." "Ho ho ho, Lord Beerus, as long as you are happy." Whis put away the scepter and held it in his hand, then pointed at Chengyu's body lying on the ground. A flash of white light passed, and Chengyu's consciousness gradually recovered. Chengyu slowly stood up, moved his body, and felt unbearable pain all over his body. Then he looked at Whis and Beerus in front of him and said lightly, "Lord Beerus, are you satisfied now? Let's go. I'll take you to taste the food." When they mentioned food, the two immediately became interested, and then said hello to the protagonists and went home. This crisis, which was not a crisis, finally ended hastily under such circumstances. A few days passed, and everyone's life returned to normal, ordinary days. As for the result of that time, Beerus and Whis were taken by Cheng Yu to Exadu for a big meal and left, and then with the help of Cheng Yu, Vegeta also successfully transformed into Super Saiyan 4. In the original plot, Vegeta should have cultivated it himself, but this time, because of Cheng Yu's teasing and foreshadowing, our Saiyan Prince still relied on the power of others to transform. After that battle, Cheng Yu found that Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan 4 blood sublimation can be regarded as a world of difference. The physical strength, breath, and energy quality are completely different. In fact, there is an interesting thing during this period. Vegeta, the proud Saiyan Prince, came to Cheng Yu. He felt that Cheng Yu's transformation was still suitable for him, so he put down his face and asked Cheng Yu. And Cheng Yu definitely couldn't tell him, otherwise what about the self-easy form later? So Cheng Yu got the answer after a little thought, he replied. Every Saiyan is different. Even if you can learn to imitate my transformation, it may not be successful. In this case, why don't you create a path of your own? In order to make Vegeta believe his words, Cheng Yu used a set of ancestral tricks and anger methods. Think about it, Sun Wukong and you have the same transformation now, so if you develop on this transformation, you will be better than Sun Wukong. By the way, I practiced with Whis for a while before, so I am a little stronger than you. Otherwise, would I need to break through between life and death when I was fighting? I think you should also find a good teacher to practice. After hearing this, Vegeta was stunned, and then he came back to think. Yes, I am the same as Kakarot now, so I must go out of my own way and surpass him. Vegeta's eyes instantly became clear, and then he said hello and left to go back to practice. Cheng Yu also planned to ask Whis to help train Vegeta when Whis came later, so as to see if the perennial runner-up would turn over and become the master. Since Cheng Yu absorbed the power of the giant ape and trained himself, Cheng Yu can now even fight against the Super Saiyan 2 of the protagonist group, not to mention that Cheng Yu is several transformations ahead of the protagonist group. Cheng Yu has been thinking about a question, that is, if Vegito and Gogeta are pulled out, see who is better. Then see whose transformation is more fancy. Or there is a crazier idea, what kind of monster will be born after Vegito and Gogeta are fused for the second time, no one knows. Hey, dog system, should I get a reward for fighting Beerus? Although I didn't win, I also fought. Are you going to swallow my reward? Ding, you have to defeat the opponent to get a reward, and the difference in combat power cannot be too large. The system has not issued any tasks. So it's you who don't listen to the system introduction seriously. To be honest, Cheng Yu's face is dark now. If it weren't for number 18 still in the house, Cheng Yu would definitely curse the system. By the way, system, can you give me a template of Gogeta in the future? I am now equivalent to Vegeta. What do you think about fusing this Gogeta? Hey, you are really a genius. Maybe you can give it a try. In this way, I will issue you a task to defeat Gogeta and reward you with a perfect Gogeta template fusion, a version of the complete fusion of the power and blood of the giant ape. This system doesn't know either, but I think this must be a very interesting thing that can quickly help the host become stronger. It's worth a try. Gogeta and Vegito fuse. Vegeta already has 2 portrait earrings, so we can only use the Metamorph fusion technique. What will the fused one be called? Gogeta. One is the best in the world, and the other is the strongest in the dimension. So the fused one is the best in the world and the dimension. It's worth a try. So Cheng Yu teleported again and brought Sun Wukong and Vegeta to the suburbs. The two were still confused. They didn't know anything when Cheng Yu brought them here. Hey, Cheng Yu, what are you doing? Call both of us here. Vegeta, I may feel a little embarrassed about this request. Do you know the Metamorph fusion technique? I want to fight with the strongest warriors you two fuse together. After hearing Cheng Yu's explanation, the two showed different expressions. Although they didn't know how to fuse, it would depend on their opinions if they wanted to fuse two people together. Cheng Yu also noticed their expressions, so he continued. Two just encountered a bottleneck in my cultivation, so I want to find a strong person to fight with me. You are in the right direction. After half an hour of fusion, it will be automatically released. After that, I can lead you to cultivate a new form. Quote. Sun Wukong, who is worthy of being a martial arts fanatic, agreed immediately. Besides, he can practice with Cheng Yu after the fight. Such an opportunity is really rare. HMPH, I agree to you, but can you show us the new form you mentioned first? Okay, then it's up to you. Quote. Cheng Yu took a deep breath and slowly closed his eyes. He concentrated and began to mobilize the surging divine energy hidden in his body. A powerful airflow suddenly broke out with Cheng Yu as the center, and the surrounding air seemed to be stirred up by this force. Then, Cheng Yu carefully controlled these divine energies and wrapped them around the energy core of the Super Saiyan layer by layer like a cocoon. As this process continued, a dazzling blue light burst out from Cheng Yu's body, instantly illuminating the entire space. Under the illumination of this blue light, Cheng Yu's tightly closed eyes suddenly opened. The blue light that originally enveloped his body also gradually dissipated as if being pulled by something. When the light completely dissipated, it appeared in front of Sun Wukong and Beige. Cheng Yu in front of the tower has undergone amazing changes. At this moment, Cheng Yu's long blue hair danced in the wind, and even his eyebrows and pupils turned into a deep blue. The whole person exudes an unparalleled majesty and domineering, as if a god from the depths of the universe has descended to the world. There is no doubt that Cheng Yu has successfully transformed and entered the state of Super Saiyan Blue. Then, Cheng Yu also began to teach the two people how to merge and how to proceed. But this shameful action completely annoyed Vegeta. Cheng Yu saw that there was no way, so he just told Vegeta that it was just this time, and maybe after this time of unfusion, both of them might have new insights. Besides, he still has to lead them to practice. Vegeta heard it and just said that this was a special case. After a while, the two began to merge. As the two people's movements were in place, the fingers of their two hands just touched each other accurately. At this moment, a dazzling orange light suddenly surged from the ground like a violent tornado. The light was so strong that it was almost impossible to open one's eyes. The powerful energy fluctuations spread out from the light to the surroundings. Wherever it went, the ground cracked and sand and stones flew. As the orange light gradually disappeared, what appeared in front of Cheng Yu was the strongest warrior formed by the fusion of Vegeta and Sun Wukong Gogeta. Gogeta was tall and straight, exuding an unparalleled powerful aura. His eyes were firm and sharp, as if he could see through everything. The powerful aura made the surrounding space seem to solidify. Hey, I'm neither Vegeta nor Sun Wukong. I'm Cheng Yu, the one who came to defeat you. Since it's the fusion of two people, then I'll call you Gogeta. Come on, Cheng Yu. Gogeta, come on, show me your true strength, the strongest warrior. For the sake of convenience and the safety of the Earth, Cheng Yu flew directly to the universe, and Gogeta followed closely behind. Cheng Yu flashed with a dazzling blue light and transformed into Super Saiyan Blue to meet the challenge. And Gogeta witnessed it, smiled slightly, and then burst out his own breath, and then a red light flashed, and Super Saiyan God Gogeta participated. In the vast universe, a shocking battle is about to begin. Cheng Yu, who transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, and Gogeta, who transformed into Super Saiyan God, stood opposite each other. Cheng Yu was surrounded by a dark blue light, and the blue flames surged around him. His eyes were full of determination, as if he wanted to completely crush all the obstacles in front of him. The Super Saiyan God transformed by Gogeta exudes a sacred and powerful aura, and the red light is like a scorching sun, illuminating the dark space around him. He stands tall, and every move is full of power and majesty. At the beginning of the battle, Cheng Yu took the lead in attacking. He flashed and disappeared in an instant. The next moment, he appeared in front of Gogeta and swung a fist with violent power. Gogeta reacted quickly, dodged sideways, and hit back an energy beam. Cheng Yu flexibly avoided the beam, turned around, and kicked out with a whistling wind. Gogeta raised his hand to block the kick, and pushed forward, knocking Cheng Yu back several meters. Cheng Yu stabilized his body, quickly gathered energy with both hands, and a huge blue energy ball formed in his hands, and then threw it towards Gogeta. Gogeta put his hands together, and a red energy shield appeared in front of him, successfully resisting the impact of the energy ball. The two sides went back and forth, neither giving in. Every collision caused violent turbulence in the surrounding space, and the bright light bloomed in the universe like fireworks. Their fighting speed was extremely fast, and their figures kept flashing in the universe, making people dazzled. Cheng Yu roared, and increased his strength again, and the blue flame on his body burned more vigorously. Gogeta was not to be outdone, and his red light became more and more dazzling, as if he wanted to compete with Cheng Yu's blue light. Bang! 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 The sound of fists colliding kept coming from the universe. Cheng Yu also discovered during the battle that this Gogeta was unbelievably strong. The fusion of the two people in the normal state had already improved a lot, not to mention the increase brought by the transformation. It can be said that it was so terrifying. The more Cheng Yu fought, the more surprised he was. Gogeta was not only powerful, but also had a lot of fighting skills. Moreover, he had an invincible temperament since he was born. Cheng Yu also stopped holding back in order to complete the system task, otherwise they would disintegrate in a while, and it would be miserable if he didn't complete the task. Cheng Yu punched Gogeta away, and then his whole body was ignited with blue flames, accompanied by Cheng Yu's roar. Ha! Ah! Cheng Yu successfully transformed into Super Saiyan Blue Level 2 with a burst of dazzling blue light. Now Cheng Yu's hair stood up, like sharp spikes, pointing directly at the endless sky. His whole body was surrounded by blue flames like surging waves, and the flames were surging, as if they had endless power and anger. At the same time, along with this powerful blue flame, lightning crackled in it. The lightning was like a silver snake dancing wildly, dazzling, and every flash and explosion released a heart-pounding energy fluctuation. Come on, Gogeta, you've made my Saiyan genes boil completely. Although Gogeta was also frightened when he saw this, he also roared and raised his own breath to the extreme. He stepped forward and started to clash with Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu, who was at the second stage of Super Saiyan Blue, showed his incomparable strength at this moment. He was firmly suppressing the Super Saiyan God Gogeta, who had already burst out all his aura. The blue light around Cheng Yu became more and more dazzling, like a bright blue star. Wherever the light reached, the space seemed to be distorted. The blue flame on his body, which was as surging as the waves, became more violent at this moment, as if it was going to swallow up the entire universe. Every time his breath surged, it was accompanied by a powerful energy fluctuation, which made the surrounding stars tremble. And Gogeta, although he had burst out all his aura, still seemed a little powerless under the strong pressure of Cheng Yu. Although his red light was dazzling, it seemed a little dim in front of Cheng Yu's more powerful blue light. Gogeta gritted his teeth and struggled to resist Cheng Yu's attack. Every counterattack poured all his strength into it. Cheng Yu's attack was like a storm. Each punch was powerful enough to destroy the world, and each kick could set off a frenzy of energy. Under such a fierce attack, Gogeta could only defend and dodge constantly, looking for opportunities to counterattack. However, Cheng Yu did not give him any room to breathe, and wave after wave of powerful attacks followed. Cheng Yu did not give Gogeta any chance, and dodged and punched Gogeta in the stomach. This punch was surrounded by huge blue energy. Gogeta was hit by this punch and his body fell back and was cut into a shrimp shape, and he also vomited bitter water. Come on, Gogeta, this is the last one, let's decide the outcome. Cheng Yu's eyes were like torches, his expression was firm, and after he finished speaking loudly, his hands quickly gathered Kamehameha and placed them at his sides. Then, under the crazy blessing of the whole body's energy, he pushed forward with both hands. At this moment, a huge and terrifying Kamehameha shot out from his hand, like a violent blue dragon, with the momentum of destroying everything, and went straight to Gogeta. On the other side, Gogeta saw this and released all his breath without hesitation. Similarly, he also performed a red Kamehameha. The light was hot and dazzling, like a burning red sun. Two extremely powerful energies collided in the vast universe, and for a moment, the light was bright and the energy was overflowing. The entire universe was illuminated by this dazzling light, and the space trembled violently, as if it would collapse at any time. Seeing this, Cheng Yu did not retreat at all, but increased the output of breath and energy again, and continued to push forward. His forehead was bulging with veins, and the muscles of his whole body were tense. Every inch of his strength was poured into this attack without reservation. Finally, under the continuous and powerful blessing of Cheng Yu, the Kamehameha he released gradually gained the upper hand and began to devour Gogeta's red Kamehameha. Then, Cheng Yu's Kamehameha exploded directly on Gogeta's body with an unstoppable force. The huge explosion resounded throughout the universe, and the brilliant light bloomed like fireworks. Gogeta's figure was instantly submerged in the explosion, and the surrounding space became chaotic due to the huge energy impact. In this earth-shattering explosion, Gogeta was ultimately unable to withstand the violent energy impact and was forced to disintegrate. Sun Wukong and Vegeta also fell into a coma due to this huge force, drifting unconsciously in the cold and vast universe. Seeing this, Cheng Yu did not hesitate at all. He instantly mobilized his own energy, performed the technique of teleportation, and appeared beside the two people like a ghost in a flash. Then, Cheng Yu launched teleportation again, taking the two people with him and disappearing into the universe. In the blink of an eye, they returned to Earth. Cheng Yu took out the Senzu beans from the system space and fed them to the two people, then sat aside and waited quietly for the two people to wake up. Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Do you need to fuse the perfect Gogeta template now? System, wait a minute, don't be in a hurry now, let's talk about it when we get home. After a while, the two woke up in a daze, then stood up, and recalled the memory of their combined battle, and then Sun Wukong said. Wow, the two of us combined have never beaten you, Cheng Yu, you are so strong. Hey, because didn't you find that my normal combat power is much higher than yours? Besides, I have other transformations to increase combat power. The one you saw at that time is my current strongest state. Humph, this prince will definitely surpass you and become the strongest Saiyan. Now that's all right, tell me how to transform into the so-called Super Saiyan Blue. Quote. Cheng Yu smiled, and then said. Actually it's very simple. First, you have to thoroughly understand the spirit of God, and then try to cultivate the state of Super Saiyan God as much as possible, and finally cover the spirit of God with Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan God is equivalent to God's normal state, and Super Saiyan Blue is equivalent to Super Saiyan transformation in normal state, but the spirit is replaced by the spirit of God. After listening, Vegeta thought for a while, and then shouted. Kakarot, I will definitely transform into that Super Saiyan Blue before you. After saying that, he flew away. Sun Wukong on the side also thought for a while, then said hello to Cheng Yu and flew away. Seeing this, Cheng Yu also moved back home instantly. What is the first thing to do when you get home? Of course, say hello to your wife and spend some time with her. Besides, you can't do anything during the special period, so it's not too much to kiss and hug for a while. After the two of them had been together for a while, Cheng Yu walked into the training room and began to ask the system. Is there anything wrong with the fusion of these two templates? System, say something. Don't worry, this system protects you, what are you afraid of? And after the fusion of the two templates, your potential will be greatly improved, and your blood should also change slightly. Anyway, it's all for the better direction. After listening to this, Cheng Yu thought about it and it was true. In order to practice rapidly, to be the strongest warrior, and to protect my current family. System, fuse it for me. Just as the voice fell, the whole system seemed to be activated and started to work instantly. In an instant, a blazing heat flowed freely in Cheng Yu's body like a surging torrent. Wherever this heat flow passed, it seemed to ignite every nerve and every blood vessel, bringing waves of unbearable burning sensation. Almost at the same time, a heart-wrenching pain suddenly hit him, as if countless sharp knives were stirring and cutting wildly in his body. Cheng Yu felt as if his body was about to be torn into pieces. The severe pain made him clench his fists tightly, so that his finger joints turned white due to excessive force. The veins on his forehead were bulging, and the protruding veins were clearly visible like crawling earthworms. Beads of sweat rolled down his forehead, slid down his cheeks, and dripped onto the ground. However, despite the unbearable pain, Cheng Yu still gritted his teeth and persisted, not letting himself utter a groan or cry. Another short while passed, and the pain finally ended. Huh. Cheng Yu sighed, then stood up, moved his body a little, and then went to the bathroom to look at his current appearance and figure, and then said to himself. Now the whole person looks younger, as if he has grown a little taller, and his muscles are tighter. Then he returned to the training room, moved his body a little, and then said. System, open the panel and see the changes now. Panel. Name. Cheng Yu Goga Template. Bloodline. Saiyan Mutant Bloodline. Combat Power. 5 trillion. System Evaluation. unrivaled potential, extremely high degree of development, very high talent limit, system, I have fused two templates. Is the blood still the mutated Saiyan blood? Or are there any other changes? Ding, since you asked sincerely, I will tell you mercifully. First of all, the current Saiyan mutated blood is different from your previous one. The current blood is more like an upgraded Pro-Max version, and the potential talents are all maxed out. Now no matter what you practice, it is very terrifying. Cheng Yu was stunned when he heard it, and then said, so. That's it. You are cheating, system. No, listen carefully, mortal, this system is honest, let me introduce it to you. First of all, the strength of the body has been greatly improved. It has been improved after you merge the power of the giant ape, and it can be improved with the transformation, but now your normal state has reached a very terrifying level, which means that your body can better control the energy breath, store and even generate more powerful bursts. Instead, as your physical strength increases, your God root and Saiyan evolution root can even be merged after you have completely mastered the power of God, so you don't need a single form. The speed, energy intensity, and control of the burst in the normal or single form are far superior to before. The second is mental strength. With the combination of the two strongest warriors, your mental strength will be greatly increased, and there will be no chaotic emotions. Instead, you can perfectly control your emotions with training. The third is talent potential and even practice. These are all directly maxed out. It can be said that with one more practice, you will definitely become the strongest in the future. The last and most important point is that when you reach a certain level of practice, the breakthrough will not be stimulated by the life and death moment like before, but a calm breakthrough when things are done. Quote. Cheng Yu listened to these changes and benefits, and his eyes widened. Now, the two strongest warriors merged into one, which means I am the strongest. I am Gogeta. Gogeta does not appear in this world, so I will definitely be the strongest person. Hey, system, now that I can fully develop the Saiyan bloodline, will there be Super Saiyan 5, Super Saiyan 6, etc.? Cheng Yu was lying on the sofa at home, holding his little wife number 18 with one hand and asking in his heart. Ding, this system can only say that the upper limit of your talent potential has reached a peak, so I can only tell you that everything comes from you. So it means it really exists. Wait until the time comes to create a Super Saiyan 18, and you will be invincible in all worlds. Hiss. Horrible, I dare not even think about it. Cheng Yu tried to continue to develop the quality of the divine energy and then try divine power, but all failed without exception. If divine power is the foundation, then Cheng Yu has failed. Without even the foundation, how can he build a house? The traditional Saiyan bloodline transformation seems to have come to an end. In fact, according to the memories of the previous life, Super Saiyan 5, that is, the transformation in Dragon Ball AF, requires strong mental power and extremely angry or extreme emotions to break through. Cheng Yu may be about to have his own child, or he has lived a dull life for a long time. Cheng Yu does not have too many emotions. Instead, he just wants to live a good life and enjoy every moment. According to the memories of his previous life, Cheng Yu carefully calculated these transformations, as follows. Bloodline plus Gigantic Ape equals Super Saiyan 4. Bloodline plus Gigantic Ape plus Mental Power equals Super Saiyan 5. God's Aura plus Super Saiyan Energy equals Super Saiyan Blue. In fact, Gigantic Ape represents the strength of the body, and Cheng Yu does not have this problem at all, because he now integrates Gigantic Ape and Bloodline into one, and it can be said that the normal state is a humanoid Gigantic Ape. So according to this calculation, except for the fact that Cheng Yu's normal combat power may not be enough, everything else can be completely transformed into Super Saiyan 5. Whether it is the cultivation of mental power or the training of physical strength, Cheng Yu can be said to be far ahead, even in terms of normal combat power and energy use. But to break through this thing, you always need an opportunity. Even if there is a standard, you need a buffer and opportunity before reaching the standard. Cheng Yu's current physical strength can be said to be among the strongest. If he couldn't control the divine energy in his body and rioted before, he would explode and die. Now, if he riots, Cheng Yu can even completely suppress it and expel it from his body. Not to mention that the power of the giant ape and bloodline are now completely integrated. If Cheng Yu transforms into Super Saiyan 4, His physical strength can be said to have barely reached the strength of God before, but now he can completely surpass the god of destruction and reach the next level after the transformation. If the energy can only be higher, then with this terrifying body, it can only be said that the combat power is extremely outrageous. System: why is the physical strength of the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline so outrageous? Broly can withstand the combat power that rivals Gogeta's Super Blue, which is simply terrifying. Ding! Because the combat power of the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline is increasing all the time, and this combat power will naturally strengthen the body imperceptibly. Host: you don't have to worry too much. Your physical strength and combat power will increase all the time even if you don't exercise. Hey, why is the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline combat power so outrageous? Host: did you find out one thing? Broly can't transform into a giant ape. I'll give you another explanation. Broly can transform into Super Saiyan 4 even without transforming into a giant ape. To put it bluntly, the giant ape power and bloodline power of that kind of bloodline are completely integrated together, and the combat power of his bloodline is terrifying because of the surge of emotions. Cheng Yu thought about it and it seemed to be true. According to the description of the drama, he would only lose control of his emotions, but he never transformed into a giant ape. He has lived on that planet for so long that I don't believe he can't even see the moonlight at night. Wait a minute, system, I have a question. If I use divine power, can I still be considered a traditional Super Saiyan if I break through the Super Saiyan? It seems not. What the hell should I do? I was planning to go the Super Saiyan route, but now you tell me I can't. That means I have to either give up my divine power training or give up my subsequent bloodline Super Saiyan training. Actually, there is another way, which is to combine divine power and breath. This way, you can have both the energy quality of divine power and the advantages of ordinary breath, such as less burden on the body and excellent control. It is equivalent to combining two energies. In this way, although the divine root can't transform, the Super Saiyan can continue to transform, and you can also learn divine control techniques. How to combine? Don't tell me the first half, why don't you say the second half of the sentence? You can make me the strongest and complete the task for me. Quote. There will be tasks later, host. Shouldn't you think about continuing to master and use the divine power first? And continue to develop the bloodline super race route. So don't be anxious, you can't chew too much, host. Can I still let you teach me a lesson? If I can't beat you, I will definitely give you 2 Kamehameha. By the way, there is one more thing. I remember that the protagonist group may be replaced by Zamasu with the Super Shenlong Wish. Will I be replaced, system? Quote. Ding, host, your soul is not governed by this world, so the Super Shenlong can't affect you, which is the so-called no such person. As for other people, it's because this world has given you a mark. It means that this world recognizes you. But there is also a disadvantage, that is, if you die, the Shenlong can't resurrect you. It's really good and bad. Forget it, the enemy will be blocked by the generals and the water will be covered by the earth. As long as you become the strongest, that's it. Quote. During this period, Cheng Yu not only accompanied number 18, but also carefully felt this body. He found that in addition to the absurd talent for physical training, even the learning ability and physical strength were very absurd. When number 18 hadn't given birth yet, Cheng Yu could take care of her and spend some time practicing crazily. After having a child, no one knew what would happen. On this day, 2 more people appeared in Cheng Yu's house. That's right, they were Whis and the god of destruction Beerus, who came to Earth to taste delicious food. It just so happened that the 2 practice maniacs came to me every day to practice a few days ago, which was very annoying. It was just right to let Whis take them to practice. So Cheng Yu took Whis and Beerus to have a big meal. Under the temptation of delicious food, the 2 gods agreed. As for Vegeta and Sun Wukong, Cheng Yu had actually said it before. In addition, Vegeta actually knew the horror of the god of destruction. Cheng Yu introduced Whis to Vegeta and told him that Whis was actually the master of the god of destruction. In this way, the problem was solved. In order to take care of No. 18, Cheng Yu went to Bulma's house to ask about various things about having children, and asked Bulma to help. He also found a few people to serve No. 18. This period of time can be said to be the most annoying period for Cheng Yu. He is about to have a child, but Cheng Yu is stuck in a dead end. Worried that he can't take good care of the child and the family, and worried that he can't solve some things in the future, etc. Anyway, Cheng Yu is depressed and has no joy of being a father. Of course, number 18 observed her man's emotions, so she gave Cheng Yu enough comfort and enlightenment, and Cheng Yu also understood. Live a good life and take good care of the family. Everything else is secondary. I am not afraid of even gods, so why should I be afraid of these trivial matters in life? Cheng Yu walked out of his dead-end moment, took good care of number 18, and enjoyed the present and no 18's life moments. Hey, system, is there any way to let number 18 give birth to the child quickly? I know it's painful for women to give birth. Your number 18 is not an ordinary person. And even if there is, do you dare to use it? Aren't you afraid that the child will have problems after using it? Then can you check the child's current condition, such as blood, and combat power? Anyway, it won't be long before the child is born. No one comes to the temple for no reason, really. If it weren't for the understanding system I said, I wouldn't help you with these things. Wait. Although Cheng Yu was ridiculed by the system, he didn't care. He was very nervous, very nervous. Your child's physical condition is very perfect, and his physical strength is also very high. It seems that he has been affected by your divine energy, which may cause this child to use divine energy at birth. What? What did you say? What is blood? Let me explain to you. You and your wife both use divine energy, which causes this child to have divine energy in his body at birth, and if he practices later, it will become divine power. Blood cannot be detected at present. It's outrageous. How long did I practice to have divine energy? Although I still want to practice the super race route and divine power, divine energy is the foundation. This child has the foundation since birth. Where can I go to reason with you? Cheng Yu thought about it. No, as a father, how can I let my child surpass me? I must practice hard. I can't say that I can use divine power completely, but at least I have to master it before my child. Cheng Yu was depressed with a child at this moment. This is simply unspeakable and shameful. Another long time passed, and finally the day of delivery on the 18th arrived. In the hospital, Cheng Yu stood outside the door, full of fear. However, with Bulma's explanation, Cheng Yu finally put his mind at ease. In the end, in less than half an hour, the doctor told him that the mother and daughter were safe. At this time, Cheng Yu didn't care about the rules of the hospital. He burst out with a strong breath, broke through the wall with the force of thunder, and rushed in desperately. Oh, it's true. Bulma said as she looked at Cheng Yu and supported her forehead. After entering the room, he went straight to the bed of number 18, his eyes full of concern and care, and kept asking about her well-being. Dear, how do you feel? Are you uncomfortable? That anxious look, as if there was nothing more important in the world. No, I feel fine. It may be because number 18 is also a strong person. She can get out of bed and walk after giving birth. Except for being a little weak, there is nothing else. Even the doctor said it was a medical miracle. Then he took number 18 to a small bed, looking at the child who looked a bit like number 18 and himself. Cheng Yu and number 18 looked at each other and smiled happily. At this moment, Cheng Yu felt the family affection and sense of responsibility that he had never had in his previous life. For the first time, I felt a sense of belonging to a family. Wait, let me think about what name to give her. Cheng Yu paced back and forth, thinking, looking at the little girl lying quietly in the bed, thinking. Oh, let's call her Cheng Jiayi, that's it. Number 18 also smiled happily when he heard this and said. I think it sounds good. At this time, a big hole was punched out of the wall, and another person flew in, saying. Where is my nephew? Where are my sister and brother-in-law? What a mess of people. Bulma was speechless at this time. It turned out that number 17 rushed in. As early as when he came to the hospital, Cheng Yu informed him that he would have a nephew or niece, and asked him to come and see. Now, there is no need to care about any rules. All of them came with force. Looking at the little girl lying quietly on the bed, number 17 also smiled, and then teased. This is very similar to you, sister, so cute. But this personality should be different from your sister. What did you say? I think you look like you've been beaten for a long time. Really? Number 18 got angry immediately after hearing what he said, and started talking while grabbing No 17's ear. Chengyu and Bulma laughed happily watching from the side. Later, Chengyu was full of joy and extremely careful to gently hold the delicate little princess in his arms and bring her home. Number 17 was naturally invited by Chengyu to come to his home to help take care of the little princess who was still in the cradle for a while. And Chengyu started a family life full of warmth and love at home. Every morning, he always woke up to the sound of his daughter's babbling, and watched his wife gently feeding his daughter. The scene was very warm. He would accompany his wife to bathe their daughter, and the little person would splash happily in the water, making the family laugh constantly. In the afternoon sun, Chengyu held his daughter, and his wife leaned against him. The family of three strolled in the garden, feeling the caress of the breeze. In the evening, he would tell his daughter warm stories and watch her fall asleep sweetly in his wife's arms. On weekends, they would take their daughter to the park to play together. Watching their daughter curiously observing the world around her, Chengyu and his wife's eyes were full of pampering. Sometimes, Chengyu would cook a sumptuous dinner for his wife and daughter, and the family would sit around the dining table, enjoying the food in each other's company. In this ordinary and precious daily life, Chengyu deeply felt the warmth and happiness brought by the family. The smile on his face was satisfaction and happiness from the heart. While Chengyu was still living a happy family life, he didn't know that a conspiracy against the king's territory was being planned and implemented. Dad! Dad! Chengyu held the little princess in his arms, and the little princess suddenly spoke. What did you say? Call me a good daughter. Ba. Ba. Hey, good child. Quote. Chengyu immediately went into his room with his daughter in his arms to show off to No. 18. After living happily for quite a long time, Chengyu knew in his heart that he could not always be immersed in this comfort. So, he was also ready to return to training. After all, he knew that if something unexpected happened, he would not have enough ability to protect this warm and happy family. So he told number 18 that he would be away for 2 days and then practice. Number 18 also expressed his support for this. Who said that these Saiyans are all fighting maniacs? It's just that his man is not as crazy as others. With firm determination, Chengyu resolutely came to the Temple of Heaven. Then, he walked into the mysterious Spirit Time House again without hesitation, ready to start a difficult journey of practice inside. When Chengyu went to the Spirit Time House, the system also issued a task at this time. Please ask the host to master the divine power in the Spirit Time House for 1 year. Reward: the fusion of divine power and breath, perfect control of emotions. What you lack is really what you get, but the divine power is still really hard to master. Quote. Chengyu was also annoyed. If you say that if you make something else, Chengyu will do it immediately without saying a word, but as for this divine power, he has been practicing for a long time. In addition to continuing to develop the quality of divine energy, it is still far from divine power. Besides, there is no divine power for Chengyu to refer to. The only valuable thing is Chengyu's memory, that is, the divine power in the training suit specially made by Weiss for Chengyu before, and he had some insights during that time. If there are no conditions, create them. Can a living person be suffocated to death? Quote. Besides, there is also perfect control of emotions, which may be the breakthrough opportunity for Super Saiyan 5. So even if it is difficult, Chengyu must create the conditions and master it. Chengyu really tried his best to master the divine power. In the mysterious and stressful spiritual time house, he always maintained the transformation state of Super Saiyan Blue Level 2, concentrating on feeling and familiarizing himself with the flow trajectory and application of the divine energy in his body. He set himself a high-intensity training plan, simulating various complex and dangerous battle scenes over and over again. In these simulations, he forced his body and consciousness to adapt to the powerful and unique power of the divine energy. Even though his body and mind were under tremendous pressure, he never flinched. Not only that, Chengyu also showed amazing attentiveness and patience. After each use of the divine energy, he would carefully study the subtle differences, like a rigorous scholar, carefully analyzing the effects of each movement and each exertion, finding out the advantages and strengthening them, and constantly adjusting and improving the deficiencies. Chengyu can be said to have reached the final stage in the development of the divine energy. The current divine energy can be said to be at its peak in terms of quality, purity, and damage, but it is still a little short of breaking through to divine power. Whether Cheng Yu observes the use of the divine energy or goes whether he continued to increase the quality of the divine energy or not, there was always a thin film away from divine power, and it would take an opportunity to break this film. After another long and arduous period of practice, Cheng Yu was pleasantly surprised to find that because the practice of divine energy had reached an unprecedented peak, the transformation strength of Super Saiyan Blue Level 2 was much stronger than before. Cheng Yu calmed down and carefully felt the differences between now and the past. He did not miss any subtle changes, and concentrated on experiencing every fluctuation of his body and strength, trying to find the key method for the evolution of divine energy into divine power. His eyes were full of concentration and determination, as if it seemed that the whole world was just him and the power of constant exploration. In this quiet training space, Cheng Yu devoted himself to the perception of power, looking forward to the moment of breakthrough. Suddenly, a layer of transparent air waves formed around Cheng Yu's body. Although Cheng Yu maintained the transformation of Super Saiyan Blue Level 2, the aura of Super Saiyan Blue Level 2 was directly integrated into his body. A layer of transparent breath directly surrounded Cheng Yu's body, and there was also a layer of white air waves like flowing water around his eyes. His hair was obviously blue, but the blue hair was wrapped in a layer of transparent streamlined energy. I succeeded, finally succeeded. It turned out that the opportunity is to completely purify all the divine energy. Quote. Cheng Yu opened his eyes, stood up and moved around, and found that the control of divine power was not as sensitive as the control of breath, but this heavy feeling also made the damage of divine power incomparable to breath. Congratulations to the host for completing the reward. The reward is now being distributed. After the system finished speaking, Cheng Yu's Super Saiyan Blue Level 2 transformation disappeared instantly, and Cheng Yu returned to normal. Immediately afterwards, Cheng Yu found that the two energies in his body merged in his body like a warm current. When a white air wave emanated from around Cheng Yu's body, Cheng Yu felt his energy again. With the perfect control of breath and the destruction and diversity of divine power, it's okay, very okay. Quote. Cheng Yu was so happy that he finally took the final and most basic step and finished it. However, before Cheng Yu finished speaking, he felt a strange feeling enter his mind again. Then, Cheng Yu found that there was a way to control emotions anytime and anywhere in his mind. The system reward has been issued. Please continue to work hard. It turned out to be the emotion control method rewarded by the system. Cheng Yu checked it carefully and began to think about it. Then Cheng Yu felt the various energies in his body again and found that the transformation of the Spirit of God could no longer be transformed, so he asked. System, what's going on? I can't even transform into the Super Saiyan God. Quote. Because the host has mastered divine power, the divine aura transformation that is lower than divine power will naturally not appear, and the host's normal state is the energy combined with divine power and aura. So your combat power has also increased a lot, but the transformation increase of Super Saiyan and Bloodline is still the same, and only combat power is improved. I see, it seems so. With high-level energy, the first-level energy will naturally not appear. On the contrary, I am equivalent to divine power with the control of aura, so I should be happy. When Cheng Yu thought of this and transformed into a Super Saiyan again, he found that the amplification effect brought by the transformation was still the same as the system said, and only the normal combat power changed. Cheng Yu practiced in the Spirit Time House for a long time, and his normal combat power grew rapidly, showing an amazing speed. However, it is regrettable that he has not been able to break through to the next stage of transformation. No matter how hard he tried, how he explored and tapped his potential, the door to a higher stage of transformation was always closed, as if testing his patience and perseverance. Now Cheng Yu's normal combat power has reached a very terrifying level, even Cheng Yu himself dare not believe it. It may be that his potential talent is high enough, which makes Cheng Yu's practice more effective. In order to break through the coveted Super Saiyan 5, which is the next stage of transformation, Cheng Yu resolutely adopted the emotional control method rewarded by the system according to the plot in Dragon Ball AF, and tried his best to keep his emotions in an extremely angry state. And Cheng Yu, in this surging, almost out of control extreme anger, actually completed the amazing transformation from normal to Super Saiyan IV bloodline sublimation. However, all this is far from over. This time, in the extreme anger, Cheng Yu cleverly combined his physical strength and mental strength, as if he had found a magic key, successfully opened a new door, and stepped into an unknown and challenging new realm. Accompanied by a flash of white light, Cheng Yu roared. Ha! Ah! The white light that enveloped Cheng Yu dissipated, replaced by a new look of Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu's hair now fell like a waterfall, reaching the length of a shawl, from the neck to the front of the body, and was much longer than ordinary shawl hair, like a flowing silver galaxy. The silver hair flashed with a mysterious luster, and each strand contained endless power. The silver hair covering his body, like a fine armor, added a bit of majesty and wildness to it. The most eye-catching thing is the red pupil, like a burning flame, hot and full of power. The purple eye sockets surrounding it are more like mysterious runes, adding a mysterious and dangerous atmosphere to these eyes. At the same time, there are crackling lightning around him, which shuttles around him like a smart dragon, making him shrouded in a dazzling and frightening light. Yes, white hair and body hair, red pupils, purple eye sockets, and lightning surrounding the body, this is exactly Super Saiyan 5. Cheng Yu tried his best to control his emotions and not be affected by this transformation, just stay angry, and then slowly calm down. Under this transformation, Cheng Yu found that it might be because of the first transformation that caused emotional instability and consumption burden. So Mr. Cheng Yu stabilized his emotions, tried his best to eliminate all kinds of violent and irritable thoughts in his mind caused by the transformation, and then adapted to the surge and combat power brought by this form. After a careful experience and initial adaptation to this new transformation, Cheng Yu was surprised to find that this transformation was indeed beyond imagination, so powerful that it was not an exaggeration to describe it as terrifying. However, its disadvantages were also extremely significant. This transformation was caused by extraordinary extreme emotions, coupled with its powerful and shocking energy aura, which led to an extremely serious burden on the body. Moreover, in order to stabilize the various violent and irritable thoughts brought about by this transformation, it was necessary to have extremely strong mental power to control and stabilize it. It can be said that the advantage of this transformation is that it can give extremely powerful combat power, but the disadvantages are also obvious and cannot be ignored. After adapting, Cheng Yu immediately cancelled the transformation and began to breathe in fresh air. Hu! Hiss! Super Saiyan 5 is so terrifying. It's so powerful and has unimaginable side effects. Cheng Yu took a break. It might be because Cheng Yu's physical strength came from the so-called Gogeta, and the fusion of the power of the giant ape, plus the fusion of divine power and breath, so the body can withstand this terrifying energy. But you need to keep extreme or beyond normal emotions to transform, and the transformation also has violent, murderous and other emotions that respond to your own thoughts, so you need extremely strong mental power to control. System, do you have any good way to eliminate these side effects, or reduce the side effects? Otherwise, this transformation can only be used for a short time or even for instant kills. Nothing is allowed to be posted. Host, why don't you think of saying a few nice words to me when you scold me? Tisk, man. Cheng Yu admitted defeat when he heard it, but he was unwilling to accept it. He rolled his eyes and thought of a good idea, and then said, System, you are not good enough, right? Other people's systems are either invincible or have explosive combat power. You let me practice on my own, and you also need me to complete various tasks to get rewards. Your system is obviously not as good as other systems. Tisk, tisk, tisk. What are you talking about? How can this system be compared with those ordinary people's systems? Isn't it just a method to eliminate the side effects of transformation? I'll give it to you. But you need to complete the task, otherwise I can't give it to you. Hurry up. What task? I can't wait. Ding. Release the task. Maintain the transformation of Super Saiyan 5 for 2 hours. Task time limit. 1 month in the Spirit Time House. Task reward. Eliminate all negative effects of Super Saiyan 5. Aren't you just bullying an honest person? You can only maintain this transformation for 2 hours a month. If I can control my emotions now, I'll be thankful for 20 minutes. Cheng Yu was speechless after hearing the task. Although this task has a little hope, it is very difficult. First of all, the negative emotions of the Super Saiyan 5 transformation are very serious. Cheng Yu has the template of Gogeta, so his physical strength can withstand that energy. Secondly, because the system rewards the emotion control method in advance, he can control his emotions a little and transform. And all other violent things affect the mind, and it also requires extremely strong mental power to combine the transformation. So it is very difficult to maintain the transformation of Super Saiyan 5, and it can only be fought for a short time. Forget it, take it one step at a time, first cultivate mental power, then stabilize the transformation step by step to affect the mind, and finally cultivate physical strength, take it one step at a time. Cheng Yu also started to practice for this reward. Although he complained, even if he didn't complete the task and get the reward in the end, it would be very good to keep the transformation time a little longer. In order to successfully complete the task delivered by the system, Cheng Yu resolutely began arduous training and continuous attempts. Although Cheng Yu has cultivated his mental strength and physical strength to a very high level through unremitting efforts during this month-long period. However, he still lacks a little bit of fire in terms of emotional control. At this moment, there is only one day left before the end of the system task. Cheng Yu made a decisive decision and told himself firmly in his heart, persistence is victory. So, he transformed into Super Saiyan 5 without hesitation, and has been trying to maintain this state, ready to meet the final challenge. The negative effects brought by Super Saiyan 5 are really tricky, and Cheng Yu can only rely on his own tenacious willpower to persevere. He constantly uses mental power to suppress the various emotions surging in his heart. After hard work, the burden of energy intensity on the body is basically gone. However, the headache is that the influence of emotions and the condition that extreme emotions are required for transformation still have not found an effective solution. Therefore, in order to successfully complete the task, Cheng Yu had no choice but to grit his teeth and continue to persevere with his strong willpower. Perhaps even Cheng Yu himself had never expected that when the task was completed, he was unaware of it. Instead, the strong sense of fatigue brought by the spiritual power made Cheng Yu unable to bear it at all, and he had to take the initiative to cancel the transformation. Ding! The task is completed, and the reward has been issued. After lying on the ground for a while, he turned around and knew that the task was completed. Cheng Yu was not very surprised, but just smiled and did not do anything else. Perhaps when Cheng Yu was ready to rely on his willpower to persist, he knew that he would definitely complete it, and he could only complete it. Cheng Yu stood up, took out a fairy bean from the system space and swallowed it, and the fatigue all over his body disappeared immediately. Cheng Yu decided to try Super Saiyan 5 again, anyway, there is no negative effect now. The pure white hair wrapped around Cheng Yu, and then dispersed. What appeared in front of you was a messy white hair covering half of the body, and a white tail swinging behind the body, red pupils and purple eye sockets, and finally there were flashes of lightning around the body. Cheng Yu carefully felt the current transformation. In addition to the transformation conditions that required mental strength and a strong body, other conditions that affected emotions and required extreme emotions were eliminated. Now Cheng Yu can completely transform by mobilizing the energy in his body. It's finally over. It seems that there are still a few months before I can go out. I must fight and improve my normal combat effectiveness before going out. Cheng Yu said to himself and then began to use energy to create several clones and started fighting. Currently, Cheng Yu's normal energy is a combination of breath and divine power, so he can practice divine control skills later, but the transformation of divine energy, such as Super Saiyan God, cannot be transformed. However, the traditional transformation of Saiyans is not affected, because the normal energy is different now, but the transformation is still played by blood. In addition, I will explain some things to you so that you don't understand. For example, Cheng Yu's current template is Gogeta, which is actually a combination of Vegito and Gogeta, named Vegito. Then number 18 now actually masters divine energy, not breath. Because they have practiced on the Destroyer God planet for a period of time, they will also master divine power later. Of course, in fact, when mastering divine control skills, the divine power is naturally used in the body. Do you understand? It is equivalent to that divine control skills must be used with divine power. Then comes the highlight. The name of this book is Dark Realm Dimension. Initially, I wanted to write about the dimensions of the protagonists, such as the Kai King dimension, the God of Destruction dimension, the Priest dimension, etc., but then the combat power would be useless, and there are several comments that want to see the traditional Saiyan route. So for everyone's preferences, I combined divine power and breath, and took the traditional Saiyan transformation route. And because of divine power, you can also practice divine control skills. Isn't it good to kill two birds with one stone? Why do people always scold me? I have been trying my best to fill in the holes. It's not that I have to dig holes or even that I just write randomly. It's really not like that. I even changed the original plot to fill in the holes. Can't you just read it as a novel? I don't pursue restoration. If you really want to restore it like that, you can read the original plot. I worked hard after Get Off Work to write a fan fiction, not only because I like to read it, but also because it represents I want to write down my own thoughts so that you can read them for fun. In the end, you guys insisted on scolding me, what else can I say? I can't scold you back, so I can only complain to myself, or even suffer a loss, and try to write better. I am changing it, really changing it, please stop scolding me, brothers and sisters. I have to write something fun for you after work, so you can be a little more tolerant. Otherwise, I will be angry with my boss at Get Off Work, and I will be angry when I see the comments after Get Off Work, and I will not make money and write in vain. I will really collapse. Okay, let's talk about it. This is what I think in the future. The dark dimension represents this place, just like the dragon god dimension is where the dragon lives, and the dimension of the palace of the king of all lives like this. Then there is the combat power. I will try my best to calculate various huge numbers one by one for you to see. Many people also say that the combat power increased by transformation is not much. I have actually considered this. I can only say that we will make some changes later on the basis of what is already wrong, or abandon this kind of transformation. Just like you may say that the combat power increase of Super Saiyan God and the increase of Beast Gohan are completely wrong. I can only tell you that there will be more exciting forms later. And there are also various exclusive forms, etc. Anyway, these current forms are actually paving the way for the battle between the people of the Dark World Dimension and the people of the Omni King's territory later. Think about it, how can someone who can't even reach the combat power of a god of destruction go to the war? And it will also affect the situation of the war, so all the current forms are fun, and the forms I will transmit later will prevail. Cheng Yu also completely improved his combat power and transformation, that is, he was ready to leave the spirit time room, he was almost talking nonsense inside. The first thing he did after leaving was of course to go home to see his daughter and wife. Although it was only 2 days in the outside world, it was 2 years in Cheng Yu's eyes. At the same time, far away on the destroyer planet, Sun Wukong and Vegeta were attacking Whis together, but no matter how they attacked, they couldn't touch Whis at all. Ah, Whis, we can't touch you at all, how can we fight? Sun Wukong stopped and said. Humph, Kakarot, you idiot. Although the arrogant Prince Vegeta also had this idea, he never admitted his failure. This is what I want to tell you. It is also the instinct in battle. You really rely too much on your own moves. All moves need to be thought through by the brain. Although you are really strong by relying on your own moves, these are only the moves you want to use, not the moves your body wants to use. In other words, you need to rely on the instinct of your body to react in battle, instead of thinking with your brain all the time. It is to separate the body and consciousness, so that each part of the body can transcend instinct to perceive the danger around, without thinking through the brain, but rely on the conditioned reflex movement of each part of the body to maximize the speed of movement and reaction ability. After Whis finished speaking, Sun Wukong thought for a while, and then asked an extremely outrageous question. So did Cheng Yu also rely on this method when he fought against Lord Beerus? Whis looked at Sun Wukong speechlessly, and then said. When Cheng Yu fought against Lord Beerus, he did not rely on his body's instincts, but on enough powerful energy and breath. In other words, as Cheng Yu said, he used powerful flying bricks. By the way, why don't you call Cheng Yu to fight together and see? He completely relies on strength to crush his opponent. If the fighting power is the same, he can't beat the other person at all. Sun Wukong thought for a while, then began to look at Vegeta and said. Hey, Vegeta, why don't we really call Cheng Yu to fight? Humph, Kakarot, the winner must be me. Vegeta said with his head turned to one side. Then wait for a while, Whis, I'll bring Cheng Yu over. After saying that, he teleported and left. Cheng Yu was still resting at home at this time. Suddenly, a person appeared and frightened Cheng Yu so much that he jumped up from the sofa. After seeing clearly, Cheng Yu almost cursed. He slowed down and said, "What's wrong? Why did you come to me? Shouldn't you be training with Vegeta? Did Whis drive you back?" "No, Whis said that you should rely on the instinct of the body to fight, and then said that you rely entirely on the brain to fight, so I came to you. Come with me to the destroyer planet to fight, Cheng Yu." "Oh, Whis actually taught you these so quickly. Then let's go. I'll go and see too." After that, Cheng Yu said hello to his wife, and teleported to the destroyer planet with Sun Wukong. "Hi Whis, long time no see. Hey, Mr. Cheng Yu, you can give them a demonstration this time." "Whis, you didn't ask me to be a negative example for them, did you?" Whis laughed after hearing this, and then said, "Mr. Cheng Yu, your battles rely too much on your brain, so you fight with them and I can explain it to them." "Hey, Whis, you are really too much, you asked me to be a negative example. After all, what I practice is indeed different from them. If you act on instinct, you will become a violent and irritable person." Quote. Cheng Yu thought about it, then grinned, and thought of a very good idea, so he said, "Goku, Vegeta, come on. It just so happens that I haven't found anyone to spar with for a long time, show your full strength, otherwise you will suffer a little." Tisk. After saying this, Vegeta directly transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, and then yelled, "Come on." Sun Wukong also wrapped himself in blue flames and transformed into Super Saiyan Blue. Cheng Yu grinned, and then with a flash of white light, he instantly transformed into a Super Saiyan character. Whis, who was standing aside, was also slightly surprised to see Cheng Yu like this, and then said, "Wow, now Sun Wukong and Vegeta are going to suffer a little." Cheng Yu's current appearance, white body hair covering half of his body, with a white tail swaying behind him, messy white hair, red pupils and purple eye sockets, he looked at Sun Wukong and Vegeta opposite and said, "Come on, don't say I don't give you a chance, let you see what it means to be strong and powerful." As soon as Cheng Yu, who had transformed into Super Saiyan 5, finished speaking, he instantly flashed behind Sun Wukong and Vegeta, and then punched them one by one. The two were caught off guard and were directly hit into the air by this powerful force. Cheng Yu did not stop, and flashed again at a high speed, appeared behind them again, and punched them again. These two punches were so powerful that Sun Wukong and Vegeta were instantly knocked into the ground. With a loud boom, a huge deep pit was smashed into the ground, and a lot of smoke and dust were raised, covering the sky and the sun. Sun Wukong and Vegeta quickly stood up and immediately started to fight back without hesitation. However, no matter how hard they tried, no matter how they changed their attack angles and methods, they could not hit Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu's speed and reaction were as fast as lightning, making their attacks repeatedly miss. Just when the two were tired of attacking, Cheng Yu saw the opportunity and swung out a sharp knife, hitting them directly. Sun Wukong and Vegeta instantly lost their ability to resist, fell heavily to the ground, fell into a coma, and returned to normal. Whis flew over and waved his scepter to treat the two people. Cheng Yu also slowly descended from the control and returned to normal, then said to Whis, "Look, Whis, what I said is completely different from what they practice, so when the combat power is enough, the concept of flying bricks still exists." Wow, Mr. Cheng Yu seems to have practiced very hard. By the way, Mr. Cheng Yu, you really should consider becoming a candidate for the God of Destruction. Wes was fascinated by Cheng Yu's transformation just now. That wild posture, unique appearance and terrifying aura, is simply the perfect God of Destruction. Hey, Whis, I still believe in my own strength. Even if I don't have the power of the God of Destruction, it doesn't necessarily mean that I will lose to the God of Destruction. So as long as I can beat the God of Destruction, the rules of the God of Destruction don't exist for me. After Cheng Yu finished speaking, he smiled, and then immediately said, "Hey, Whis, my daughter is still waiting for me. I'm going back first. I'll come to you to practice in a while, and then I'll bring you delicious food. Goodbye, Whis." After speaking, he teleported back to Earth. What about those guys you sent to the Omni King's territory last time? How are they now? In a palace in the negative universe, commonly known as the Dark World, the person sitting on the throne at the head asked. My lord, several people were torn apart by the turbulence when they broke through the cosmic barrier. Only 2 people reached the Omni King's territory. One unexpected energy was not completely attached to the others, but was eliminated. Another one is missing. A person below stood up and knelt on one knee and said. What a bunch of trash. Wait, after I recover, I will take you to break through the cosmic barrier. This time, no one will stop me, ha ha ha. The leader exuded a breath and then dissipated. The people below looked at each other, and several people left here without saying anything. The negative universe, which is the opposite of the Omni universe, is in another dimension and is generally called the Dark World. The people in the Omni King's territory were still unaware of it, but one person still noticed something different. That's right, this is the High Priest. As the seal of the negative universe weakened, the cosmic barrier was not as strong as before, so the High Priest also had a little guess, and with the Dark World energy that appeared in the 7th universe last time, the High Priest also confirmed it. The Dark World gradually saw the light of day again, and the seal of that year was weakened with the energy, and the territory of the King of All was not as prosperous as before. Alas, it's time to make some preparations. The High Priest sighed and began to think about how to deal with it. Another year has passed, and the god of destruction Beerus is still sleeping. During this period, Sun Wukong and Vegeta also returned to Earth from the god of destruction planet to accompany their families. In Cheng Yu's home, in order to improve his wife's combat effectiveness, if he can no longer protect himself, Cheng Yu has also gradually cultivated divine power from lazily during this year. What lived up to everyone's expectations was that lazily sublimated the divine energy in her body into divine power under Cheng Yu's unremitting indoctrination, and her physical strength was able to fully withstand the divine power under training. His fighting power has also increased dramatically as he mastered the divine power. Although Cheng Yu lives a dull life, he has never given up his cultivation, and his normal fighting power can be said to be improving by leaps and bounds. Although he is not as good as the god of destruction, if he fights Gogeta again, he can even kill him in the state of Super Saiyan 4. The Saiyan duo Sun Wukong and Vegeta also solved the leakage problem of Super Saiyan Blue under the guidance of Whis and became the perfect Super Saiyan Blue. Cheng Yu's daughter may have been influenced by lazily and Cheng Yu. At this age, she can skillfully use the divine energy and can even speak some simple words. Cheng Yu patiently explained to his daughter the simple use of the divine energy at home, and told her not to use it casually on Earth. Maybe the talent was inherited too well. Can you believe that a child under 2 years old can learn to control the divine energy in his body? Cheng Yu's family can be said to be the strongest family on Earth. Because the couple mastered the divine power, their lifespan has been greatly improved. The divine power is constantly transforming the body, making the body younger, and the strength of the body is also unconsciously improved. During this period, Cheng Yu also discovered a very interesting thing. If the ordinary breath can be perfectly controlled, some moves can be created according to one's own ideas, and the use of divine power is more flexible. Why do you say that? Krillin's self-created Qi Yuan Zan, Cheng Yu learned it by himself, and also modified it. On the basis of Qi Yuan Zan, it became an 8-point light wheel. That's right, it's the 8-point light wheel you imagine, the kind of guillotine used by Ultraman Ace. And it can also change according to the size of the energy you inject, and even if the energy is enough, you can cut anything at will. This is a simple use of divine power, and not only that, Cheng Yu is gradually developing the use of divine power. This thing can even create something. As long as the energy exists, then this thing will not disappear. It's so terrifying. Time passed by little, and every month had its own life or plan. Vegeta was still training hard to defeat Son Goku, and Son Goku was also doing it at home and training. At this time, a man came to Cheng Yu's house. I said Piccolo, long time no see, why are you here? Cheng Yu looked at Piccolo who came to his house and asked. Son Goku and Vegeta, 2 Saiyans, have new transformations. I have fallen behind too much, so I want you to take me to Namek. I want to understand Mi's bloodline. Pico said. It turned out that he was unwilling to fall behind too much. Although the Saiyans were perverted, he couldn't fall behind too much. Is that so? Let's go. Actually, I also want to go to Namek to use the Dragon Balls. By the way, I also want to see what the bloodline of you Namekians is all about. He said that and asked Piccolo to put his hand on his shoulder, and then teleported to the planet Namek. This place is really desolate. By the way, Piccolo, don't you Namekians need to eat? People of our clan can survive even if they only drink water, and they rarely eat. Let's go and ask the elder. He said that he flew over the planet with Piccolo. After Cheng Yu and Piccolo found the elder of the Namekians, the elder looked deep and slowly said, Pico, your bloodline contains ancient and mysterious power. This power comes from the long-standing heritage of our Namek family, but its awakening and release requires you to experience inner tempering and a deep understanding of yourself. Quote. Then Great Elder, does Piccolo's bloodline have to be stimulated by himself, or are there other methods? Cheng Yu asked. The Great Elder thought for a while, and then said. Pico's potential is actually very strong, but I don't know how to stimulate his bloodline. There are too few records of our Namek people. The previous Great Elder only said that we belong to the Dragon Clan, and other people now don't know. Cheng Yu thought for a while, the Dragon Clan, could it be the Shenlong? With doubts, Cheng Yu said. That Great Elder, Piccolo wants to become stronger and doesn't want to lag behind others too much. His power is used to protect his companions, so I want to ask if you can lend us the Dragon Ball. I want to ask how Piccolo's bloodline is stimulated or what kind of bloodline it belongs to. In this way, Piccolo can continue to work hard to become stronger in the future. Quote. Ahem, kid, as long as you are determined, that's all. Aun, go and notify each village to bring the Dragon Balls. By the way, I also want to know the origin of our Namekians. The elder said. This problem is not only about the Namekians, but also about Piccolo's bloodline. The former elder said that the old gods on the earth before were born with very high potential. In order to protect me, they sent me away from the previous planet Namek. Now I have become one with the old god. The issue of bloodline has always been a question, so I want to ask. Anyway, thank you, elder. Piccolo also thanked him at this time. Kid, no matter what, you have a group of friends, you also have very powerful strength, you are also the pride of our Namekians. The elder said to Piccolo on the side. Wan La Wa, Wu Ka. The Namekian said in Namekian language, summoning Shenlong. Say your wish. Accompanied by a burst of yellow light, Shenlong appeared from the Dragon Ball. I want to ask how to stimulate the blood of Namekians, or can you help me develop Piccolo's blood? The Namekian in front handed over Shenlong in a special language, and Shenlong also returned. Puranga said he didn't know how to stimulate blood, but he could help develop your friend's potential. Then do as he said, help Piccolo stimulate his potential. Cheng Yu also said to the Namekian who made a wish in front. Then another moment passed, and after successfully making a wish, Shenlong Puranga disappeared, and the Dragon Balls scattered. Piccolo and Cheng Yu returned to the Great Elder. Great Elder, Puranga told us that the Namekians belong to the Dragon Clan, but I don't know about the others. And if there are other Namekians who want to protect this place and want to become stronger, they can make a wish to develop their potential. Cheng Yu said to the Great Elder. In fact, Cheng Yu just used 2 wishes. The first one was to help Piccolo stimulate his potential, and the second one was to ask about the Namekian bloodline. After the divine power helped Piccolo develop his potential, he said. His potential is very high. After I help him develop it, he can slowly become stronger. I also gave him a little extra energy from the Dragon Clan. I hope you can feel this well. Then Shenlong's answer to the second question was intriguing. He said this. The Namekians originated from the Dragon Clan, or the descendants of the Dragon Clan. This child's bloodline is very special, different from other descendants of the Dragon Clan. If his bloodline is used well, he can return to his ancestors. Then Cheng Yu did not make any other wishes, because there was nothing that needed Shenlong to practice, so he returned here. After Cheng Yu told the elder what the dragon said, he took Piccolo to say goodbye to the elder and came to the Earth God Temple again. In order to help Piccolo become stronger, Cheng Yu decided to go to the Spirit Time House again, taking Piccolo with him, and studying Piccolo's situation. You can try to feel the power given to you by the divine power first, and see if you can use or develop your current bloodline potential, etc. After coming to the Spirit Time House, Chengyu said to Piccolo. Okay. Piccolo also knew that he should feel these things first, so he answered and sat down to feel the energy given by the dragon. Chengyu actually felt that energy, because Chengyu was using a combination of divine power and breath, so the energy Chengyu felt was the power to summon the dragon, which should be called the power of the dragon god. In the previous life, when I watched the Dragon Ball extras or Dragon Ball fan fiction, I knew that the dragon god was Sarama, and the power of the dragon god was naturally his power. If Piccolo could use and develop this energy, would Piccolo become the dragon god? It's hard to say. The only thing that can be confirmed now is that the descendants of the Dragon Clan are Namekians, and the relationship between the Dragon Clan and Sarama is not clear. Anyway, there must be a connection, and Sarama is the producer of Super Dragon Ball, and Namekians can also make Dragon Balls. So no one will believe you if you say there is no relationship. In this case, Chengyu also speculated whether Piccolo would directly return to his ancestral family and become a dragon clan if he stimulated his bloodline, or become a dragon god directly if he was bolder. Hiss. Terrible, I can't even imagine it. Chengyu took a breath of cold air. This is completely different from the plot in the Dragon Ball movie in the previous life. There was no such thing in the plot in the previous life. Moreover, Piccolo's potential has now been developed by divine power and given power. So no one knows whether Piccolo will transform into Orange Piccolo or return to his ancestral family and become a dragon clan. So Chengyu was very interested. I can't waste time, I should train hard. Let Piccolo feel it for himself, I believe he can do it anyway. After that, he stopped paying attention to Piccolo, used his divine power to create a one-to-one replica of his opponent, and started fighting. The days of training in the Spirit Time House always passed quickly, and Chengyu's system space Senzu beans were consumed a lot, whether it was for injuries or to restore physical strength. Senzu beans, a must-have for home and travel. But what made Chengyu feel helpless was that Senzu beans could still restore injuries and physical strength, but the divine power in his body, that is, the energy combined with breath and divine power, could not be fully restored, which was very uncomfortable. Because of the breakthrough of Super Saiyan 5, Chengyu's normal state has also been greatly improved, and the most obvious that is, the energy stored in the body has increased. However, the Senzu beans can only restore part of it, which means that if you want to restore it all, you may need to eat a large handful each time. On the other side, Piccolo was trapped in the environment at this time. He had just mastered the power of the dragon god, and his bloodline was able to evolve once. As soon as he evolved, he fell into the environment. In the environment, Piccolo saw the prosperity and strength of the Dragon Clan, and then it was destroyed by an unknown golden giant. Then Piccolo saw many Dragon Clan members fleeing and wandering in the universe, and then gradually developed into today's Namekians. At this moment, Piccolo understood, and finally understood it, saying to himself, I understand, I am a Dragon Clan member, I will become stronger and protect everything I have. Suddenly, Piccolo's body was surrounded by a burst of orange light, and then as the light gradually dimmed, Piccolo appeared here completely changed. Piccolo's eyes suddenly turned bright red, like a burning fire. At the same time, his muscles were stronger and more powerful than before, full of explosive power. His muscles were surging wildly, and his original skin color turned into a striking orange, and he exuded a shocking aura. Bick also opened his eyes, felt the energy in his body, and then looked at his current appearance and smiled again. Chengyu noticed this place when the powerful energy and light just appeared. At this time, Chengyu also saw the new form of Piccolo and said to himself, it's exactly the same, Orange Piccolo, the form that rivals Super Blue in the original plot. At this time, Piccolo also looked at Chengyu and saw that he was in a daze, so he asked, hey, Chengyu, what are you in a daze about? I also have new power. No, I didn't react for a while when I saw you like this. So this is also a new form of yours, what is it called? Well, let's call this form the orange form, just like you Saiyans. And I feel that this form can be further developed, I haven't fully mastered this power yet. Pico thought for a while, then felt this form and spoke. Then, let's fight. Remember to suppress your energy, otherwise the spirit time room will be confused by the powerful force. Cheng Yu said, eager to try. Piccolo agreed. Seeing the desire for battle in Cheng Yu's eyes, he also wanted to try the power of this form, so he agreed without hesitation. HMPH, come on. The strong fighting spirit in the eyes of the two people was not demonstrated at all, so the battle between Orange Piccolo and Cheng Yu broke out instantly, and the scene was thrilling. Piccolo took the lead in launching an attack. He rushed towards Cheng Yu like lightning and threw a strong and powerful straight punch. The fist wind whistled with overwhelming force. Cheng Yu hastily raised his hand to resist, but was shaken back by the huge impact force and staggered. Before Cheng Yu could stabilize his body, Piccolo followed with a flying kick, and his leg wind was sharp, directly approaching Cheng Yu's chest. Cheng Yu was kicked hard before he could dodge, and flew out like a kite with a broken string. Cheng Yu struggled to get up from the ground, and before he could catch his breath, Piccolo flashed in front of him at a very fast speed, and his fists fell like raindrops. Cheng Yu could only defend desperately, crossing his arms in front of him, and bearing Piccolo's violent attack. Every collision made Cheng Yu feel numb in his arms. He tried to find a flaw in Piccolo's attack to counterattack, but Piccolo's attack was seamless, so he had no way to start. Piccolo's power seemed to be endless, and each of his moves contained great power. Under such strong oppression, Cheng Yu was always suppressed and beaten, and was completely in a passive situation. At this extremely critical moment, Cheng Yu's eyes flashed with determination. He clenched his fists tightly and caught Piccolo's powerful punch. Then, Cheng Yu burst out with a powerful force and threw Piccolo out. Cheng Yu's aura surged all over his body. He roared to the sky, and the energy in his body surged wildly. He instantly transformed into a Super Saiyan 2. The golden flames burned fiercely, and the powerful momentum made the surrounding air seem to solidify. Cheng Yu did not hesitate at all. He kicked his feet and rushed forward like a golden lightning, starting a new round of battle. His speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he came in front of Piccolo and threw a heavy punch with endless fighting spirit. Even Cheng Yu did not expect that he had already taken out the strength of Super Saiyan 2, but still could not compete with Piccolo. Instead, Piccolo always had the upper hand and kept suppressing him. Cheng Yu's eyes became more and more determined, without any intention of retreating, but filled with a strong fighting spirit. Just as Piccolo rushed over and punched again, Cheng Yu reached out and grabbed the menacing fist without hesitation. Then, he burst out all his strength, tightly grasped Piccolo's fist, and threw it away fiercely. I have to say that Piccolo's power in this form is really strong. Then I have to show my real ability. Hey, ah. Then, Cheng Yu took advantage of this rare gap, took a deep breath, and the breath of his whole body instantly rioted. He mobilized the blood power in his body with all his strength, and saw a powerful energy gathering around his body. With a flash of brown-red light, Cheng Yu successfully completed the transformation and became a Super Saiyan 4. At this moment, Cheng Yu exuded a terrifying and powerful aura all over his body, and his eyes were full of determination and fighting spirit, ready to start a more intense battle with Piccolo. Oh. Is the power of Super Saiyan 4 so terrifying? I feel like this space can't bear my full strength burst. Since Cheng Yu's combat power at Super Saiyan 4 is far superior to Piccolo's, in order to ensure the fairness and challenge of the battle, Cheng Yu took the initiative to suppress part of his combat power, making himself and Piccolo at the same combat power level, and then began this wonderful battle. The battle between Super Saiyan 4 Cheng Yu and Orange Piccolo is about to break out. Cheng Yu is surrounded by red flames, and his eyes are firm and fearless. Orange Piccolo's muscles are tight, exuding a strong sense of oppression. Piccolo took the lead in launching an attack. He flashed and appeared in front of Cheng Yu in an instant, swinging a fist with powerful force. Cheng Yu was not in a hurry, easily dodged sideways, and then responded with a swift kick, and Piccolo quickly blocked it with his arm. The two of them went back and forth, punching and kicking, and every collision aroused waves of energy fluctuations. Piccolo used various unique skills, shining brightly, trying to suppress Cheng Yu. However, Cheng Yu, relying on the powerful strength and agility of Super Saiyan 4, repeatedly resolved Piccolo's attacks and gave a powerful counterattack. The battle entered a white-hot stage, and the surrounding air the space was distorted by their powerful strength. Cheng Yu roared, and his strength burst out again. He punched out and collided head-on with Piccolo's fist. The powerful impact made the whole battlefield tremble. The battle between Super Saiyan 4 Chengyu and Orange Piccolo was extremely fierce. Piccolo's eyes condensed, his hands quickly formed seals, and he muttered something. In an instant, a beam of energy shot out from his palm and rushed straight towards Chengyu. Chengyu reacted quickly, dodged sideways, and then approached Piccolo like a ghost, and threw a fierce straight punch. Piccolo crossed his arms to resist, but was knocked back several steps by the powerful impact. Before Piccolo could stand firm, Chengyu took advantage of the victory and kicked out with his legs in a row, as fast as lightning. Piccolo dodged left and right, saw the right moment, grabbed Chengyu's ankle, and threw Chengyu into the air with a strong swing. Chengyu in the air quickly adjusted his body shape, dived down, and smashed Piccolo with his fists with blazing flames. Piccolo lifted his hands up and took the blow. With a loud bang, a huge deep pit appeared on the ground, and dust flew. Piccolo shouted, and his whole body burst into energy, shining brightly. He rushed forward and started a close combat with Chengyu. The two fists hit each other like raindrops, and every collision burst out dazzling sparks and powerful energy fluctuations. Chengyu suddenly teleported and appeared behind Piccolo, kicking him on the back. Piccolo rushed forward a few steps, turned around and hit back, and a wave of energy spurted out from his hands. Chengyu crossed his hands, condensed energy to form a shield, and blocked the blow. The battle became more and more intense, and both sides were merciless and vowed to defeat each other. Later, the situation was like this. In order to help Piccolo quickly master the power of this form, Chengyu suppressed his own strength to be on the same level as Piccolo, and then he suppressed Piccolo with his rich skills, while Piccolo also gradually developed the power of transformation in battle, and absorbed combat experience. Hey, Piccolo, I finally know what you said. When the old god was young, he was called a Super Namekian because of his great potential and fighting power, and then he was sent to Earth because of the destruction of the planet Namek, and you are actually a Super Namekian. In fact, you are a Namekian whose bloodline is closer to the dragon race among the Namekians. Chengyu also guessed Piccolo's bloodline background based on Piccolo's explanation. Because when I watched the plot in my previous life, the elder said that he was a Super Namekian, but in fact, he was just a Namekian whose bloodline returned to the ancestral dragon race. But since the power of bloodline is also very strong, maybe he can become a real dragon in the future. It should be, but when I saw the scene of the destruction of the dragon race, I swore that I must protect my current home. And since I have this bloodline, I will definitely not fall behind anyone. Pico said like this. Of course, in fact, it is impossible that only the Saiyan race is strong in the universe. There will be many other powerful races. As long as you develop your own blood well, you will become stronger. Speaking of which, I think of the Saiyan race in the past, and the dragon race and other races are so powerful. Who will destroy them? So that the dragon bloodline is diluted to become the Namekian, and the Saiyans are only left with ordinary Saiyan bloodline. Chengyu was also in doubt. Humph, no matter who he is, since we don't know now, then we just have to work hard to become stronger. If that person comes again, we must avenge the previous people, and also for our own home and life. Pico said firmly. By the way, Piccolo, which form you are in plus your current normal combat power is already high enough, you can even go single-handedly challenge either Son Goku or Vegeta. Chengyu said, showing an evil smile. Isn't it just a Saiyan? My Super Namekian surpasses the Saiyan. Pico also smiled. You should train yourself first. By the way, you can train your normal combat power. In this way, you will become very strong after transformation. Chengyu said, and then walked aside to think. And Piccolo also answered and went to practice on his own. In fact, Chengyu was thinking that Piccolo's new form has been developed, which means that there is only one missing, Son Gohan's beast form. But now Son Gohan can't even transform into the mysterious form Max, let alone the beast form. Chengyu fell into thinking again. I have to say that the beast form is really handsome. Since he can't transform, can I? Hey, system, if I go to Old Kai to develop my potential, can I transform into the mysterious form and the beast form? Chengyu couldn't think of it, so he started to ask the system. In fact, if the host develops his potential now, he can already transform into the potential evolution form, beast form, because the host's combat power is completely beyond the standard. Cheng Yu was surprised when he heard this, and then thought, so that means I can go to Old Kai and develop my potential, then train a little bit now, and then rely on emotions to transform directly into the beast form. System, you didn't lie to me, did you? I remember that the Dragon Ball plot said that this is Son Gohan's exclusive form. Can I really transform? Host, you are the one who has merged the template of the ultimate dimensional invincible warrior Gogeta, so there is no doubt about your talent and potential. How about this, since you like it very much, the system will give you a welfare task. Release task. Defeat Orange Piccolo. Reward, full potential form and potential evolution form. Potential evolution is the beast form, and full potential is the mysterious form, right, system? Yes, Old Kai stimulates Son Gohan's potential all at once, causing Son Gohan to further burst his breath under normal circumstances and transform into the mysterious form, and the beast form, which is the potential evolution form, stimulates Son Gohan's wildness on the basis of the mysterious form. I love you so much, system. Wait, I'll go right away. Cheng Yu couldn't wait to hear that. The beast form is also one of the coolest forms. In particular, the mysterious form is a form that Cheng Yu uses very often now. First of all, the mysterious state is just to burst out all the breath in the normal state and stimulate the potential, so there is no need to consume and burden like the Super Saiyan transformation. It can be used as a normal state, and others may not be able to see it. Even if the battle is tied with the enemy, after the two have exhausted their energy, they suddenly burst out their breath and transform into the mysterious form to launch a sneak attack. It is absolutely a must-have for home and travel. Of course there is another main reason, Cheng Yu actually wants to be a human being. If you think about it, if Super Saiyan is regarded as normal, then if Frieza really sees it, he will directly call it a Saiyan monkey. Although it is very strong and convenient in battle, it is useless in daily life. The mysterious form is the same as the normal state, and others can't detect it at all. After the beast form is trained, it just changes the color of the hair, and it is handsome. The most important thing is that at least it is still a human being. Piccolo, don't blame me, who told the system to give more, here I come. Another while passed, Cheng Yu didn't do anything, just beat Piccolo a little to complete the task, who told the system to give more. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the reward has been issued. As the system's voice fell, Cheng Yu felt that the energy pool in his body had two more powers, one was a gentle breath, and the other was full of wildness and violent power. The basic method of Cheng Yu's transformation into the beast form is similar to that of the Super Saiyan, except that one is the potential burst and the other is the breath burst, and the advanced forms are all evolved from the basics. Cheng Yu first burst all his breath to transform into the mysterious form. Cheng Yu sensed that it was stronger than Super Saiyan 3, but not as strong as Super Saiyan God, and the power increased was in this range. Then Cheng Yu further increased his breath in the mysterious form and transformed into the mysterious form Max, which is the one with lightning. It's exactly the same as the increase of Super Saiyan God. Then Cheng Yu roared, raised his potential to the extreme, and then evolved into the beast form. At this time, Cheng Yu had transformed into the beast form, and his appearance at this moment was shocking. His hair and eyebrows turned into silver gray, like a wisp of cold moonlight, exuding a mysterious and cold breath. The pair of pupils turned into a bright red, like a burning fire, full of endless violence and power. And around his body, there were two layers of flames. The inner layer is a mysterious purple flame, like a bottomless vortex, containing endless mysterious power. The outer layer is a deep blue flame, just like the vast sky, giving people a sense of vastness. The two layers of flames interweave with each other, and accompanied by flashing lightning, the dazzling electric light shuttles and jumps in the flames, as if to tear and devour everything around. The increased combat power is slightly smaller than the original Super Saiyan 2, but it is exactly the same as the increase after the Super Saiyan 4 bloodline sublimation, with less consumption and less burden on the body. But the Super Saiyan 4 bloodline sublimation has better control over energy than the beast form. In general, Cheng Yu is still very satisfied. When Son Gohan breaks through, Cheng Yu will give him a surprise. By then, Son Gohan may doubt his life. After Cheng Yu transformed into the beast form, he slowly adapted to the transformation and carefully felt the differences. Then Cheng Yu made an amazing discovery. The beast form seems to be able to be developed. This really surprised Cheng Yu, but he quickly reacted. It is impossible for Son Gohan to return to Nobita after this form, so this is still normal. But Cheng Yu still needs to ask his system. System, this beast form is not a perfect form. Can it continue to evolve? Host, there is a second level above Super Saiyan, so why can't the beast form have a second level? Then the system should give me the first level of the beast form, right? Cheng Yu was a little unconfident. This kind of thing that was not in the original plot made Cheng Yu confused. The system's products must be high quality. Don't doubt this system. The system rewards the first level potential evolution form of the perfect form beast form. If the host wants to continue to develop, it is also possible, but the host needs to do it himself. Cheng Yu fell into his own thoughts again. If it is really possible to develop a second stage or third stage beast form, then showing it to Son Gohan when he is practicing transformation is equivalent to Vegito just transforming into a Super Saiyan. I will show him the second stage of Super Saiyan, or even the third stage. Cheng Yu smiled evilly as he thought about it, and was instantly full of energy. Speaking of which, there is still a long time in the spirit time chamber, so I can continue to practice for a while, first adapt to this new transformation, and then practice mental strength and normality. What fresh air, my mouth is almost dry in the spirit time chamber. Cheng Yu always said this every time he left the spirit time chamber. Let's go Piccolo, I'm going home. After saying that, Cheng Yu teleported back home. The first thing he did when he got home was of course to spend time with his wife, and of course to see his little princess. Now let me introduce the 3 stages of the beast form to you. Stage 1. Initial stage of potential evolution. In this stage, Gohan triggers the transformation through anger, and his pupils turn red. He looks very serious, and even if he is not angry, he looks majestic. This state gives people an invisible pressure. The transformation range is 5,000 times, which has been mentioned before. Stage 2. Energy gathering form. Energy gathering form is an advanced state of beast mode, surrounded by lightning and thunder, similar to Super Saiyan 2. Gohan's face becomes more fierce, and his emotions swing between reason and loss of control. His fighting style becomes more intense, and his movements increase, showing strong aggressiveness and wildness. I privately set the transformation range to 7,000 times. Stage 3. Berserk form. In terms of appearance and combat power, the Berserk form is similar to the energy gathering form, but the biggest difference lies in the change of mentality. In this state, Gohan's power reaches its limit, his mentality becomes calm, and he enjoys fighting fearlessly, showing the triple characteristics of arrogance, evil and wildness. This can be regarded as the full output mode of the beast form. It is very simple to understand, that is to say, it is a mode that completely stimulates one's own wildness. This is also a private setting, and the transformation amplification is 10,000 times. Except that the transformation amplitude is a private setting, the other introductions are seen in articles posted by others on the internet, which can be searched by browser. Of course, in order to highlight the semi-invincible flow of the protagonist in this book, these negative effects will definitely be eliminated in the future. Another problem is the problem of the Dragon Clan. I will introduce it to you here first, and I will write about it in detail later. The Dragon Clan, the Ancient Saiyan Clan, and the Frozen Demon Clan are the 3 most powerful races in ancient times. The power of each race is different, which you should understand. As for the power of the Dragon God, it is actually a different kind of divine power. In other words, the power of destruction, the power of angels, and the power of the Dragon God are all a kind of divine power. You should understand this. The Namekians are descendants of the dragon bloodline, but the bloodline is not as strong as before, and only contains a little bloodline. The Super Namekians are actually the dragon bloodline with a slight return to the ancestral bloodline. Similarly, the Saiyans are also descendants of the ancient Saiyan bloodline, as mentioned earlier. The current Saiyans are just the ancient Saiyan bloodline content in their bloodline that has been diluted, so they have become the bloodline of ordinary Saiyans. Here I'll give you a preview. If Frieza of the Frozen Demon Clan wants to become stronger, he must first return to his ancestral planet and undergo a ritual to return his bloodline to his ancestors, so that his potential will be greatly improved. As for the protagonists, there will definitely be different choices later. Vegeta and Sun Wukong will only practice in the God route as usual. Piccolo will definitely practice and develop his bloodline later, and then return his bloodline to his ancestors and become a member of the Dragon Clan. For the time being, the following chapters are these things. If you have any good suggestions, you can put them forward and I will consider them as appropriate. There are actually a few more people in the protagonist group, such as Krillin, Tien Shinhan, etc. I really can't think of how to make their combat power high. You said Krillin is a bald man, I can't write him as a Super Saiyan. And Tien Shinhan, I can't write him as Erlang Shen's eyes open. So the later period should be written around the three races and the disputes in the Dark World. I guess you should have a big problem, that is, the fan setting that the dragon race should be the descendants of Salama. I have also seen this kind of fan fiction, but I am not going to write it this way. I want to write that Salama is a member of the Dragon Clan, and then by chance he cultivated to the present, and then made the Super Dragon Balls, etc. For example, there is also the character of Yamoshi in the fan fiction. Generally, fans say that he is the ancestor of the Saiyans, or some fans say that he is the real Super Saiyan God. Anyway, he is written as a villain. I don't want to write him as a good person, and I want to write him as the first person with the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. In this way, Broly can also appear smoothly. After controlling his emotions, his bloodline is further developed, and he can finally become a particularly strong Saiyan like Yamoshi. I found a problem, and I found something wrong while writing, so I just put these problems forward for you to see, and make some changes by the way. The breath used by Cheng Yu is a combination of divine power and breath, but when I wrote the transformation form later, I found that the fusion of these two breaths was completely wrong. So I changed it here. Ordinary Saiyans still use mortal breath when transforming, and only use divine power when performing transformations such as Ultra Instinct. Because I have always wanted to write about mortals' power surpassing that of gods, which is the so-called powerful flying bricks, but once divine power is mixed in, it does not fit the theme, right? So I completely rewrite it here. The protagonist will only use divine power when transforming, such as Ultra Instinct and other divine powers. Super Saiyan and Bloodline transformations will only use mortal breath. The protagonist can withstand divine power because after mastering divine power has been subtly changing the body, which is the so-called improvement of the quality of his body, including physical strength, divine power storage, etc. The power of destruction, the power of angels, and the power of the King of the Kings are all derivatives of the power of God. This book is a private setting. I will explain it to you clearly. Here I will directly overturn the previous setting and rewrite it into the coexistence of power and breath in Cheng Yu's body. In this way, the transformation will not be affected, and the two energies are in the body. Another possibility is to transform into Super Saiyan 5. I also need to reset the transformation that replaces breath and uses power after transformation, but most of them still use breath. Otherwise, there are too many transformations and I can't count the combat power. The power conference is coming soon. At that time, I will write out everyone's combat power in advance, so that you won't be blinded. The combat power of the God of Destruction Beerus is about 100 Ga, which is the normal state, and after opening the Ultra Instinct, it is 1000 Ga, and the same is true when opening the God of Destruction form. If you master the perfect Ultra Instinct, you will reach the unit of Z. I set the combat power of the Angel Whis to about 10 Z, and the combat form is about 100 Z. The realm of the God of Destruction in this book is the interval of 10 Gai to 1000 Gai, and the realm of the Angel is about 1 Z to 1000 Z. The battle power of a mortal surpassing the God of Destruction does not mean that he can really defeat the God of Destruction, but it means that your power can indeed surpass the God of Destruction, but not in other aspects, such as the God of Destruction also has the power of destruction, destructive energy, etc. So what they call surpassing the God of Destruction is just that your power or aura surpasses the God of Destruction, but you will definitely not be able to defeat him in a real fight. But what if you really surpass the God of Destruction too much? For example, according to the battle power, Beerus has a battle power of 1000 Gai, Then I practice to a few Z, or even hundreds of Z. That means you can really defeat the god of destruction by force. This is the theme of what I call the flying brick of strength. Since surpassing you can't defeat you, then directly leading you, or even you can't calculate me, then how can you defeat me? This is the so-called real mortal surpassing the gods. As for divine power, if you cultivate it well and develop your own exclusive energy or transform, then your combat power can also surpass that of gods. It just requires hard work and talent potential. I roughly estimated that even if Sun Wukong activates the perfect Ultra Instinct, then according to the setting of this book, the divine energy in his body has become divine power, but his combat power is only about 250 Gai, which is not higher than Beerus. So if you want to surpass the god of destruction, then your power must be much greater than his. This is the real transcendence of gods. The so-called one force breaks all laws is this situation. As long as your power exceeds his by too much, even several times, then the god of destruction is really inferior to you. This is also the theme that will definitely appear in the book later. For example, the gods often say that the power of a person in a certain universe exceeds that of the god of destruction, or even reaches the angel. In fact, the power has reached, but if you really fight, you still have no hope. A combat power of more than 10 Gai can be said to have reached the combat power of the current god of destruction. A combat power of 100 Gai can be said to have surpassed the god of destruction. A combat power of 1000 Gai can be said to be truly capable of fighting the god of destruction. The same is true for angels. A combat power of Z can be said to have reached the combat power realm of angels. A combat power of more than 10 can be said to have surpassed angels. However, if a combat power of 100 Z is reached, then it can truly fight against angels. It's another bright morning. Oh, this life is so comfortable. Cheng Yu stretched and started to make breakfast. After having dinner with number 18 and his little princess, he lay in the yard. This kind of life is so comfortable. My normal combat power should be enough for me to break through the next stage of the beast form, but I don't know whether I should break through. Cheng Yu thought so. Since I can break through at any time, I won't break through first. One is that I am afraid that the new form will have a more serious burden. The second is that Cheng Yu decided to use the new system as a trump card. Ding, host, you have a more powerful form, why do you still keep such a trump card? I don't understand. Hey, why did you suddenly show up the system today? You don't even fart normally. Because your thoughts are really hard for me to understand, so I jumped out to complain. So your idea is that I should break through the system. After the breakthrough, how to solve the burden and negative effects will become a big problem. I really don't understand your idea, host. The serious burden and negative effects of Super Saiyan 5 can't affect you. How can this system, which doesn't have Super Saiyan 5 even if it breaks through to the final stage, still affect you? I really don't want to complain about you at all. Cheng Yu also understood, that is to say, even if this form breaks through to the final stage, it is not as strong as Super Saiyan 5, not to mention other burdens. Hey, system, what do you think if I go to find old Kai to develop my potential? Because your mysterious form is fixed, it should increase the normal combat power a little, and then the next stage of the beast form will be a little easier to break through. Is there such an effect? Not bad, then go find old Kai. Cheng Yu didn't waste any words, went to find old Kai, and brought some local specialties from the earth, yellow impurities in a certain area, to bribe old Kai. On the other side, although Son Gohan did not continue to practice martial arts, he was still pursuing his dream of becoming a scholar. He also met his girlfriend, Vital, at school, and the two of them established a relationship after a long time of getting along at school. As for now, the two are also preparing to get married and start their own family. As expected, our Sun family's exclusive nanny, Piccolo, is not far from taking care of the children. Trunks and Son Goten often play together now, and the two children are now very good friends, but the proud Saiyan prince heard that Trunks could not beat Son Goten in a fight, so he gave him exclusive cruel training. After Piccolo had a new form, he did not do anything else, but instead practiced spiritual power and normal combat. Now that his potential has been developed, his practice is also advancing by leaps and bounds. Our strongest Earthling Krillin became a policeman. In an operation to capture criminals, he saved his ex-girlfriend Marin, and the two rekindled their relationship and got together again. Tian Xinhan opened a martial arts school at the foot of a mountain to teach the Earthlings who came to learn martial arts. By the way, there is also a woman with a dual personality, Lan Qi. He and Tian Xinhan are now together, and there is also a companion, Zhaozi, who has always been with them. Zhaozi also lives here. There is nothing to say about the Turtle Fairy. He still lives in the Turtle Fairy house on the island. Of course, there is also an old sea turtle accompanying him. There is also a rare animal protector who lives on an island. This person is Cheng Jiayi's uncle, Lapizi, also known as No. 17. His job is to protect these rare animals, and he can come to Chengyu to see his niece from time to time. And number 17 and Chengyu have a very common hobby, that is, they are both daughter slaves. When number 17 comes to Chengyu's house, as long as the little princess opens her mouth, number 17 will basically meet her requirements. It can be said that the life of the protagonist group is now several times better than the original plot. Everyone has their own happy life. With a family, life is also happy and plain. Cheng Yu, who is far away in the Kaishan realm, is still quietly waiting for the old Kaishan to develop his potential. This work has been going on for a day and a night. In the words of the old Kaishan, your potential is the strongest among the people I know so far, so it will take a little longer to develop you than for others. Why is it so hard to develop Cheng Yu's potential? Because Cheng Yu once defeated Majin Bu, so the Kaishan knew him. Of course, the most important thing is that H-colored piece of earth impurities played a key role. Another half-day passed. Old Kai had already sat aside, but he had to tell Cheng Yu that he had to settle his potential, otherwise it would affect his future practice. Cheng Yu could only sit there for half a day. And now, it was finally over. Cheng Yu found that his normal combat power had skyrocketed by nearly half. This made Cheng Yu very happy. Although Cheng Yu practiced very quickly, everyone knew that he had such a powerful force without doing anything. It was a feeling of taking advantage, so no one would dislike it. Cheng Yu actually adapted to the normal surge in the open space of the Kai King realm, and asked old Kai about the coordinates of the planet Yodrat, and then said goodbye and returned home. The first thing he did when he got home was to eat. Because of the Saiyan bloodline and the Goget template, Cheng Yu's appetite was also very large. After eating, Cheng Yu came to the North Pole on Earth, ready to break through the next stage of the beast form. System, can you tell me the way to break through now? It turns out that Cheng Yu had a fight with the system when he was at home, just to get the way to break through. Of course, there was no task this time it was just equivalent to asking questions. It can be said that Cheng Yu got a lot of money. The beast form is divided into 3 stages. The second stage is the same as the evolution from the mysterious form to the beast form. You need to further improve and evolve your breath. The third stage is to release all your wildness on the basis of the second stage and then you can control it. Cheng Yu stood quietly on the vast glacier, the cold wind blew his clothes. Suddenly, he took a deep breath and burst out his powerful breath. For a while, the surrounding ice and snow were scattered by the impact of this breath, and the originally calm glacier began to show cracks. Cheng Yu's body flashed with light and successfully transformed into the mysterious form. However, he did not pause at all, and then he once again tried his best to improve his breath and energy. His eyes were wide open, and as he roared, the light on his body became more and more dazzling, his muscles swelled, and his bones made a crackling sound, completing the transformation into a beast. At this moment, Cheng Yu exuded a suffocating pressure all over his body, and some glaciers under his feet continued to collapse because they could not withstand this force. However, Cheng Yu did not end this amazing transformation. On the contrary, he stared at the front with his eyes, and once again mobilized the potential in his body that was developed by the old Kai. In an instant, his body glowed brightly, and a more powerful breath burst out from him. The surrounding air seemed to be ignited by this breath, and the temperature rose sharply. Cheng Yu's body trembled slightly, and every cell was absorbing and releasing energy frantically. As the breath continued to rise, the potential developed by the old Kai also evolved again in this process. The already extremely powerful power became even more unfathomable at this moment, as if it was about to break through the shackles of heaven and earth. However, Cheng Yu still needed to do this. He still needed one last step. Cheng Yu took a deep breath, and then gathered all the outgoing breath into his body. After the baptism of the beast form power in his body, Cheng Yu's breath was released again. But this time, the flames surrounding Cheng Yu's body were different, with many more lightning crackling. The other appearances did not change much, but the energy increase was quite huge, equivalent to the first stage. The main difficulty of this stage is to gather energy, so it can also be called the second stage of gathering energy or the gathering mode. Then, after Cheng Yu evolved to the gathering mode, there was no satisfaction on his face. He was eager to know the true power of the beast form, so he gathered his breath and energy again. Then, the blue-purple flames gradually disappeared. At this moment, Cheng Yu no longer suppressed the wildness in his heart, but tried his best to stimulate the wild power in his body. As expected, at the moment when the wildness was stimulated to the maximum, the energy in Cheng Yu's body surged again like a surging wave. Surprisingly, Cheng Yu's appearance did not change much, but his eyes became sharper, as if he could see through everything. The terrifying pressure he exuded was several times stronger than before, which made people shudder. The aura emanating from his body was also nearly a circle larger than that of the first stage. His eyes were sharper than before, but his heart was extremely calm, just eager to fight. Cheng Yu could easily suppress these emotions. According to Cheng Yu, the fighting instinct of this form would be very terrifying. Once released, if released, it may cause mass casualties and destruction, because this form is just eager for battle and indifferent to everything else. And this stage can be said to be the complete form of the beast form, the final stage, which is also the third stage, the violent mode. These three stages are very powerful every month, and the third stage is even close to feeling my Super Saiyan 5. Although the mental power and control of energy are not as good as Super Saiyan 5, the final stage of the beast is still very strong, and this form does not consume as much as Super Saiyan 5. Cheng Yu also fully adapted to the transformation of the two stages, and then carefully calculated. According to my current physical strength and energy storage, I can use Super Saiyan 4 or Beast 1 in normal combat. Although the combat power increased in Berserk mode is high, it is like Broly in the movie, relying entirely on wildness to fight. If you suppress wildness, the increase will not be in place, and if you don't suppress it, the battle will go wrong. This is really a difficult point. The more Cheng Yu thought about it, the more difficult it became. Although the burden of Super Saiyan 5 is more serious, he can still rely on the system to clear the negative effects, but this form can only rely on himself to practice. As for why Cheng Yu can break through several stages at once, it's because the normal combat power has far exceeded the combat power required for this form. For example, Son Gohan also reached the standard for breakthrough before transforming into Super Saiyan 2, and he just needed the emotion of anger to stimulate it to break through. By the way, I remember that there weren't many Saiyans left after the destruction of planet Vegeta. I wonder if there are any other Saiyans in the universe. Cheng Yu also sighed for a moment. The universe is so big, and the only few Saiyans who are a little stronger are still on Earth. There are only these few people left in the ancient race that was so powerful. The power of the ancient Saiyan bloodline can be seen in fan fiction or some other works. For example, if Reg was not physically strong, he would definitely be able to give the god of destruction a try. And Broly, needless to say, has a terrifying talent. No one teaches him, and his normal combat power can also compete with the Super Saiyan God, not to mention the legendary Super Transformation. As for other races, Cheng Yu recalled that at present, he only knew that the Dragon race and the Ice Demon race were relatively strong, but these races are now almost in decline. The only very strong person in the Ice Demon race, Frieza, was also eliminated, and now he is probably still in hell looking at the fairy. This Dragon Ball universe has too many secrets, and the worldview is so huge. Cheng Yu has only known a little bit of it so far. And no one knows how much effect Cheng Yu's arrival will have. So I can only become stronger. By the way, I remember Broly should be on the planet Wampa. Pull him to train with me, and I can have another partner by the way, but his father is not easy to deal with. Because of King Vegeta, Broly's father hates King Vegeta, and because Broly is his son and has great potential, he has always wanted to use Broly to rule the universe. It is not easy to change such a person, so I can only deal with him in advance, so that Brawley will not be affected, killing two birds with one stone. Cheng Yu said goodbye to his family and prepared to go to the planet Yodrat to see if there is any perfect way to control the riot power. After learning it, he will go to find Brawley, and there are many secret techniques on the planet Yodrat. Cheng Yu also decided to find some suitable places to practice, and improve himself by the way. Unknowingly, half a year had passed on the planet Yodrat, and Cheng Yu finally walked out of the cave. The skills in the cave can be said to be flourishing, and there are all kinds of skills. Cheng Yu also picked a few practical ones to learn, such as ripening, forced separation, etc. Of course, there are some skills, such as the cross-energy ray similar to Piccolo's magic light-killing cannon, and some strange things, which can be said to be truly flourishing. Cheng Yu now finally understands what it means to have a strong talent. When studying in it, Cheng Yu can learn a skill very quickly, while the original Sun Wukong took a year to learn teleportation. In this comparison, it seems that the effect of integrating the Wujit template is beyond imagination. Cheng Yu thanked the elders here, and after saying goodbye, he spread his consciousness and began to search for Brawley's breath. As a result, Cheng Yu really found it. On a desolate planet in an unknown galaxy, this planet is very similar to the planet where Cheng Yu just came to this world. Except for the lack of intelligent creatures, it is a perfect planet. Cheng Yu used his instant teleportation to the atmosphere of this planet, and then carefully sensed the breath of Brawley and his father. Hey, it's strange, there is no breath of Paragus, and Brawley's breath seems not as strong as the original plot. Does he need to lose control to have that kind of power? Cheng Yu was also confused. After carefully sensing it several times, it was still only Brawley's breath. Cheng Yu was not going to check it anymore, and directly teleported to Brawley who was at the lake. Hi, hello, my name is Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu looked at the alert Brawley in front of him and greeted him. After Cheng Yu's introduction, it was obvious that Brawley was not as alert as before. Cheng Yu also slowly introduced himself to Brawley, saying that he was a Saiyan, and was searching for other people of the same race in the universe. He happened to see this place, so he came here. After getting to know each other, Cheng Yu also knew Brawley's current situation. Brawley was also a Saiyan. His father Paragus told him, and the Saiyans were all evil. Seeing Brawley's strong vigilance, Cheng Yu also explained that he was actually an exiled Saiyan, and that the Saiyan planet had been destroyed. Then I searched for people of the same race in the universe, and finally there were two Saiyans on Earth. And Brawley also said that his power was very violent, so he had lost control and killed his father before, and he was also an exiled Saiyan, all of which were set by his father before he died. After Cheng Yu's introduction and explanation, Brawley finally lost his guard, and the two chatted with each other. Now there are only me, Sun Wukong, Vegeta, you and a few Saiyans, and their sons. So why don't you live on Earth with me? You are so powerful, and we can practice together. But my power often gets out of control. Brawley is also worried that he will lose control again and cause some unnecessary things. Well, actually you don't have to worry, the few Saiyans we have left are very powerful, and now we are friends, right? So I will help you master your own power. How about this, if you don't believe I can help you, let's fight, so you will know whether I have the ability to help you or not. Brawley hesitated this time, and Cheng Yu also saw his thoughts. It should be that his father was killed by him out of control. This matter hit him a bit. Cheng Yu didn't waste any words, and burst out his full normal aura in front of him, and Brawley also sensed this powerful and ethereal energy. Okay. Brawley finally agreed to this request, and the two stood opposite each other. On a desolate battlefield, Brawley and Cheng Yu stood opposite each other, and the atmosphere was extremely tense. Brawley was tall and burly, with bulging muscles and green hair fluttering in the wind. His eyes were full of wildness and unruliness, and a powerful aura continued to emanate from him. Cheng Yu stood upright, his eyes were firm, and his whole body was emitting powerful energy fluctuations, ready to fight. Brawley took the lead in attacking, he roared, and rushed towards Cheng Yu like a violent beast. Cheng Yu was not afraid, and his figure flashed to avoid Brawley's pounce. Brawley then swung a heavy punch, and the fist wind whistled. Cheng Yu raised his hand to resist. The forces of both sides collided, generating a huge shock wave, and the surrounding soil and rocks were instantly blown away. The battle became more and more intense. Brawly and Cheng Yu fought back and forth, neither of them giving in. Each attack contained the power to destroy the world. Seeing Brawly's state was so difficult, Cheng Yu did not hesitate at all. The energy in his body suddenly rioted, and he transformed into the first stage of the beast form without hesitation to fight Brawly. Cheng Yu's body was shining, his muscles bulged rapidly, his hair and eyebrows turned silver gray, his pupils turned red, and his powerful aura swept like a storm. Brawly felt Cheng Yu's changes, and a flash of surprise flashed in his eyes, but it was soon replaced by the frenzy of fighting. He roared and rushed towards Cheng Yu again, and Cheng Yu did not retreat and faced Brawly's attack. The two collided in an instant, and the powerful force caused the surrounding space to be distorted for a short time. This fierce battle became more and more thrilling. Hey, Brawly, don't be afraid of losing control, use all your strength. You don't have to suppress yourself, only by overcoming your own fear can you become truly powerful. Brawly smiled rarely after hearing this, and then he stopped suppressing his emotions. A green energy emanated from Brawly's body. Cheng Yu also sensed this huge power, so he said, "We can't let him transform into a super transformer, and he will become stronger and stronger in the battle. The super transformer bloodline is really abnormal." Cheng Yu thought that he couldn't let Brawly completely lose his mind, so he decided to release his wildness and fight Brawly by instinct. Hey! Ah! Cheng Yu roared, and the sound seemed to penetrate the sky, releasing his own wildness completely without reservation. In an instant, his breath surged again. He was originally in the first stage of the beast form, and instantly advanced to the third stage of violent mode. At this time, the energy fluctuations around Cheng Yu's body were like surging waves, constantly impacting the surroundings. His muscles were more bulging, veins were bulging, and his silver gray hair was like a burning flame, flying wildly. His red pupils were full of madness and determination. Brawly couldn't help but frown slightly in the face of such a violent Cheng Yu, but his fighting spirit was even higher, and he roared and rushed towards Cheng Yu again. On the battlefield filled with smoke, the battle between Cheng Yu and Brawly has entered a white-hot stage. Cheng Yu's eyes were wide open, and the energy in his body surged like boiling magma. He stared at Brawly closely, like a beast looking for the best time to attack. Brawly was like a crazy beast, constantly launching fierce attacks on Cheng Yu, and each attack was earth-shattering's power. Suddenly, Cheng Yu flashed and went behind Brawly at a very fast speed. Brawly reacted quickly and turned to fight back, but Cheng Yu cleverly avoided the attack and swung a heavy punch, hitting Brawly's abdomen. Brawly felt pain and roared at Cheng Yu again. Cheng Yu was not afraid. He crossed his hands to resist Brawly's attack, and at the same time, he kicked Brawly back a few steps with his legs. Then, Cheng Yu gathered a powerful energy ball with both hands and threw it at Brawly. Brawly tried to block it with both hands, but the energy was too strong and broke through his defense directly. The energy ball exploded on Brawly, and for a while, it was full of light and smoke. Brawly was shocked by the powerful impact and retreated again and again, and many wounds appeared on his body. However, Brawly did not fall down. He endured the pain and rushed towards Cheng Yu again. Cheng Yu took a deep breath, and the energy in his body burst out again, and a layer of dazzling light appeared around his body. Just when Brawly was about to approach, Cheng Yu jumped up, spun in the air, and then kicked Brawly in the head with a thunderous force. This kick contained all of Cheng Yu's strength, and Brawly could no longer bear it. His body flew out like a cannonball, hitting the ground heavily, and raising a huge cloud of dust. When the smoke and dust dissipated, Brawly was lying on the ground, unconscious, and Cheng Yu stood there with a solemn look on his face. MD, the super bloodline is really abnormal. If my combat power could not crush him, he would really break through without limit and transform, and then I would be completely at a disadvantage. Cheng Yu said to himself and took out a Senzu bean for Brawly to take, and then he also returned to normal and took a Senzu bean, quietly waiting for Brawly to wake up. After a fierce battle that day, Cheng Yu decided to take Brawly back to Earth. When they finally arrived at their destination, Cheng Yu took Brawly into his warm home without hesitation. At first, Brawly felt a little cramped and uneasy about this strange environment, but as time went on, his originally vigilant heart gradually relaxed. In the following days, Brawley began to slowly try to integrate into the colorful life on Earth. He curiously observed the actions of the people around him and learned their language and life. Whenever he saw something interesting, his green eyes would flash with excitement. Cheng Yu always stayed by his side, patiently answering his questions one by one. Gradually, Brawley learned how to communicate with others. He would walk with Cheng Yu's family in the bustling streets and alleys, tasting all kinds of delicious food. Sometimes he would also participate in some lively activities and enjoy the joyful atmosphere. "Hey system, can you help me find a way to stop Brawley from losing control?" Cheng Yu said suddenly. "It doesn't matter if he can't think of it, there is still the system." Ding! Either he learns to control his emotions and cultivate to master this power, or he relies on some external forces, such as the Super Dragon Clan's wish. Huh. Does it have to be a Super Dragon Clan? Neither Purunga nor the Earth Dragon will work. The power of the Super Bloodline is too terrifying. It was passed down by Yamoshi, so he can only learn to control it himself. The Super Dragon was created by the ancestor of the Dragon Clan, and the current Namekians are just descendants of the Dragon Clan with very thin blood, so the current Dragon Balls naturally won't work. That's right. I'm still shocked when I recall Brawley's exaggerated potential. He was so strong even when he didn't lose control, not to mention when he was angry and transformed. That's right. Cheng Yu has lived here for so many years and practiced for so long, not to mention the help of the system. Under various circumstances, Cheng Yu has become as powerful as he is now. As for Brawley, as long as he can stimulate that power, he will not only continue to grow in battle but also become stronger and stronger, not to mention a super transformation and an increase in anger. Cheng Yu is like a child from a wealthy family who has money, looks, and has been trained with money since childhood. His grades are very good because of his training since childhood, while Brawley is like the kind of person who was given a genius brain by God. When it comes to exams, geniuses are always given by God. Cheng Yu is more like working hard all the time. In order to prevent Brawley from losing control of his emotions, and to prevent this hot-tempered old man from accidentally losing control of his emotions and blowing up the earth, Cheng Yu prepared to use the same trick again, using food to ask Whis to take him and Brawley to practice. So he prepared a few capsules of food, said goodbye to number 18 and his little princess, and took Brawley to the planet of the god of destruction. "Hi, Whis, I said I would come to you to practice last time, and I'm here, and I brought someone with me, his name is Brawley." "Hello." Brawley also heard Cheng Yu talk about the horror of the god of destruction and the angel, so he seemed a little restrained now. Whis found something wrong, and he saw a potential and power in Brawley that was not inferior to Cheng Yu. Whis was slightly surprised, but still said, "Oh, Mr. Cheng Yu, if Lord Beerus wakes up and sees you bringing people to the destroyer planet again, you will definitely be scolded." "It's okay, Whis. By the way, I brought you real food. If Lord Beerus says something when he wakes up, I will cook a delicious meal for him myself. I think he should agree." Cheng Yu took out the capsule development, and a table of delicious food appeared in front of Whis. Whis also immediately began to taste it, and at this time Cheng Yu spoke. "That Whis, do you know why Brawley easily loses his mind?" "Wow, it turns out that this is your purpose, Mr. Cheng Yu. Tell me, Whis, I'm really curious. I've been sensing in the universe for a long time before I found this different Saiyan, and now it seems that we are the only Saiyans left on Earth, so I brought Brawley with me. Then let me explain it to you. There is a very powerful energy in his body. If you can't completely control your emotions and strength, you will be affected by that power and emotions and lose your mind." After hearing this, Cheng Yu also thought about it for a while. This is exactly the same as the introduction in the previous life plot, but Cheng Yu came back to his senses and asked, "How can I sense his bloodline? I feel different from me, Whis. And do you have any way to stop him from losing his mind?" Quote. "Well, since you often cook for me, I'll tell you a little bit. In fact, he is the real legendary Super Saiyan mentioned by Vegeta. His blood is different from that of ordinary Saiyans. If he doesn't want to lose his mind, he must learn to control his emotions and master the power in his body." Cheng Yu felt that the angel really knew a lot. If he hadn't read the plot in his previous life, he might not know these things. In order to solve the problem once and for all, Cheng Yu still said, Well, Whis, I made so many delicious foods for you. It shouldn't be a problem for you to help me and Brawly train. Anyway, you teach me one person, and you teach two people, right? Mr. Cheng Yu, you know that I am an angel and I can't take apprentices casually. I'll make you a few more delicious meals, with delicacies you haven't tasted. Deal. Quote. When Whis heard about the food he had never tasted before, he immediately agreed. On the planet of the god of destruction, Cheng Yu and Brawly embarked on a completely different journey of cultivation. Brawly's cultivation focused on the tempering of the mind. He meditated every day, trying to find the tranquility and peace deep in his heart. At first, he had difficulty controlling his emotions that could erupt at any time like a volcano, and he would be furious at the slightest dissatisfaction. But as time went on, he gradually learned to take deep breaths and learned to calm himself down when his emotions were about to get out of control. He began to understand that only by maintaining a peaceful heart and not being affected by external interference and one's own emotions can one exert a more stable and powerful force in battle. Because Cheng Yu has already mastered the power of God, then Whis' answer to Cheng Yu is either practice some God skills, or practice normal combat power. So the practice is full of challenges. Weiss made a seemingly incredible request to him, not relying on the brain to think, but relying on the body's autonomous reaction and instinct to attack and dodge. This is undoubtedly a huge problem for Cheng Yu, who is used to using thinking to judge and make decisions. At the beginning, Cheng Yu always couldn't help thinking at critical moments, resulting in slow movements and missed opportunities. But he didn't give up, and kept repeating the training to let his body gradually adapt to this instinctive reaction mode. After countless falls and climbs, Cheng Yu's body slowly seemed to have its own reaction, and was able to react a little bit at the moment of danger, and the speed of attack and dodge was significantly improved. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and support our channel.